This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Dolis Garcia sends on the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall. Legend grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season.
Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's something to do with Twitter. It's okay.
X, you're having a little problem with X?
It's something I have to rework. It's okay. We'll be fine.
Are we going to be okay? Can we do the show? Can we do the show without X?
As I once heard before, F it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. How'd that work out for that guy?
Not great. Not great.
Trevor Gott will be on the program today. Trevor Gott was supposed to be a big part of the A's bullpen, like so many others. Bad elbow, surgery, and I'm really looking forward to this interview today. And the reason why is because he got not only the new UCL ligament, well, it's not a new one, but he got wherever they took it from, his butt, his wrist, whatever. But the procedure, he also got the brace. And that is the new thing that has been going on. It's been done 400 times or whatever, where you get Tommy John and you get the brace. And Keith Meister, Dr. Meister, who is the orthopedic surgeon who invented this and worked with Texas Rangers, did Trevor Gott's procedure. So I got a chance to run into Trevor, and it was coming up the hallway, and we started BSing. He just gotten the surgery, and obviously he's very knowledgeable about the whole deal. And this is something that's one of the biggest issues in our game. Just not at the highest level. Minor leagues, college, youth baseball. So we'll get into Trevor Gott, the recovery time, how it changes, how it's believed that when you get Tommy John and they give you the brace, that you should be good. You know, because Tommy John surgery didn't mean, oh, yeah, you're good forever. It's kind of like, well, now you're good for what we think X amount of years, and you possibly could have another one. But with the brace, it is believed that you have Tommy John now and you have the brace, this should last you a career. So he's very knowledgeable about it. Obviously, you would too if you just had the surgery and you went through the whole deal and the consultation and everything. So Trevor Gott is going to join us at 3 o'clock. Really looking forward to that. To educate us, because I don't know. I mean, we read stuff, but to now have someone who's gone through it with the top doctor doing it, he and Dr. Elatraj, I'm very curious to see what he says. And the recovery time, is it faster? But we don't necessarily want it to be faster because we want it to heal. We had guys, and it happens all the time, that I want to be the fastest. I remember Rod Woodson, the Hall of Famer, and I did some shows with Rod Woodson when he came back so fast from knee surgery. Everybody wants to be the fastest guy. I heal. I'm superhuman. I want to be the fastest guy to have this surgery and to be back. Well, do you really want to be that guy when you think about it? Or do you really want to be healed? By the time that this thing, you have the procedure, it's all done, you're now healed, right? So now we realize trying to come back quicker than a year is not smart. You really want to wait 14 to 16 months. Well, now with the brace, does that change that? We'll talk about that coming up at 3 o'clock. Julia Morales, she's the Astros Field Reporter, but last night she was doing the play-by-play with our man Jeff Blum. That's out of here, y'all, on Bregman's Call.
I do have it. Hold on.
And then the best part about it, well, I'll let you play it.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. All right. Here's the call from last night.
I'm still updating my scorecard, Bummer. Bregman drives this one, and you can say bye to that baseball, yo!
It works in Texas.
We don't need to hear Blummer's analysis. I left all that in there.
But the best part that we got to ask her, because they got a camera on their people, right? You're on television, but normally you're not on camera. You're calling the action. They've got an in-broadcast booth camera. She slams the pen down. And I want to know, what were you thinking when you look at Blummer and you slam the pen down? Because we only got that following it on Twitter. We got to see that moment. So they did a role reversal. Their normal TV guy, he was doing her job. So we'll go through that. And obviously last night where we had two women being the main play-by-play for a Major League Baseball game, we know all the history that Ginny's making for us. Pretty cool last night. And she slammed that pen down after the call. She's going to be here at 3:30. And she said somewhere today, I can't remember where it was, that, because, coming out of New York, our guy Bob Nightingale said there's, out of the 26 guys with the Houston Astros, there's 2 guys that are talking about how leadership and there's a problem with Joe Espada, the manager. So Joe Espada, I guess, had a little bit of a talk with the ball club. She's mentioned that. Let's just find out what's been going on in Houston. Because I have some numbers that are actually pretty good for them, and I hate it, but I got some good new numbers for them. She'll be here at 3:30, and then Johnny D will be here for the latest edition of Hot Take Tuesday. You better have a hot take. Don't bring a take unless it's hot. Do you got a good open for it now?
I had an open for it. I just didn't have one for the big 3.
You got a hot take?
Yeah, I do. Remember our hot take open has Johnny saying the White Sox win the Central, you saying the Yankees won't win the World Series.
Oh, yeah. By the way, somebody's hot take is actually looking pretty good. I'll remind you guys of that.
Johnny's is not.
At 4 o'clock.
And mine is still determined. I said the Astros would make the playoffs.
Joe Adell of the Angels in 2024 has an 032 OPS and is on pace right now for 27 home runs.
I think Fangraphs just did a big, I didn't read it, but they did a.
Don't give me as expected. I hate expected.
No, Fangraphs did like a whole write-up about him finally putting it all together.
Jay Jaffe, I believe, did it.
Yes.
And I was reading some of that, and after a while, I start to feel like I'm in a class, and I start dozing off. But yes, he had all the different metrics about the different zones and where he's swinging and what he's swinging at, what he's really not swinging at. I mean, those articles just go forever, and they start showing you graphs, and you're like, God, I respect it, right? I respect all the work that these guys are doing at Fangraphs and Roto World and all these different places and The Athletic, and we're going to show graphs and we're going to use numbers, and we're going to just after a while, it's like, am I really going to sit here and read 12 pages and go through all of this for you to tell me that Joe Adell's playing better?
I'm going to go with you will not.
I mean, can't you just tell me Joe Adell's playing better?
The only time I've seen I saw a cool one today in The Athletic. They did a whole article about it was Jason Stark and Ken Rosenthal about how to bring back the prominent starting pitcher. I'm assuming this is all because of Skeens. And
I couldn't read that for some reason because what we had been using for our password now doesn't work.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to log you back in. But anyway,
yeah.
I read it, and it was they put like solutions and all this stuff, but they had a graph in there, and it showed you like the percentage of innings eaten by starting pitchers from year over year.
Oh God, don't it?
But it was like interactive. Like every time you went down on the line on the graph, it will tell you. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool. So they did a nice job. It's a decent article. I tried to get Sparksy to come on tomorrow to talk about it because doing Astros games and being a former knuckleballer and starting pitcher.
Where's Sparksy?
Found out he's not doing the series, and I found out
what
old friend Josh Reddick is on the radio.
Shreddick?
With Robert
Spider-Man's on it?
So I'm efforting to get Josh Reddick to come on the program.
Oh, A's fans, we love that. Josh Reddick he was a fun A. Pieing people. He's wearing the Spider-Man costume. He was terrific defensively. Josh Reddick was a lean, athletic. He's another guy. Like when you think of Josh Reddick, as somebody who, can this guy play every day? Is he a everyday big league baseball player? Sometimes you need to be right place, right time. Well, coming from Boston to the A's, it allowed him the opportunity to become that guy. Remember, he pop out 27 home runs that year?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Josh Reddick had a job, had like a big league full-time job. And there were times where he struggled a little bit, but for the most part, Josh Reddick was a very good A. An all-around player, had power, terrific defensively, could run, was an absolute character. Speaking of Reddick, I was texting today with Johnny Gomes. Johnny Gomes is going to join us later this week. Might be good time for Johnny Gomes, kind of come in where the A's are, a little bit of a pep talk, kind of, leadership, what needs to be said right now, because the A's are in it, right? 19-24, but you need to consistently still win some games before you start falling back.
Well, two things. One with Gomes. He'd be great if we're looking at this week Friday, because we're playing the Royals. Wasn't he on the Royals World Series team?
Correct.
So he'd be great. That'd be great to talk to him about that, and just the Royals and the A's, obviously. Reddick, if you want to, you can ask him if we get him his wrestling Mount Rushmore, because he's a big wrestling guy. We were talking about this yesterday off the air. Our wrestling Mount Rushmore. Reddick be a good guy to get that opinion on, because he's a guy that's a big wrestling guy. So hopefully we can get him. Hopefully we can have Johnny Gomes, two A's fan favorites to have on this week, which would be great.
That will be absolutely fantastic. For the A's, let's get the moves of what happened today. Lawrence Butler, I don't think anybody's going to be shocked after the way that he's played. Lawrence Butler is heading out. Easton Lucas, by the way, Easton Lucas has been called. Is that the second time he's been called up this year, or was that the first?
It was the second.
It was the second. You only didn't do it 3 times in a season, right?
I don't know if there's some kind of thing with injuries, because wasn't he called up because of an injury?
Don't remember.
Yeah, wasn't he called up for? I don't remember now either. I don't know if there's some kind of thing with if a guy gets hurt and you need to.
Yeah, if a guy gets hurt, you can. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're actually.
It doesn't count because you can only get sent up and back. What, 3 times?
I think it's 3 times. Yeah, I'd have to look at the.
All right, get to the moves.
So those Easton Lucas and Lawrence Butler sent to AAA. Zach Geloff reinstated from the 10-day injured list. He had the oblique injury, so
all right.
He hasn't played since April 23rd.
Let's go.
And something that we don't do a lot, we don't see the A's do a lot. They've recalled a pitcher from Double-A Midland, not Las Vegas. Double-A Midland, Brady Basso is coming up. He's already on the 40-man roster. That was happened before going into spring training. He pitched in Midland. He made 1 start in AAA. Wasn't great, but he was very good in Double-A Midland, so he'll be here. Who knows if Alex Wood can't pitch on Friday? Maybe Brady's the guy that starts on Friday, because we're going to have.
Well, if you listen to A's Cast Live yesterday, Bill Moriarty was on A's Cast Live, and we were going down. We talked about AAA, talked about Double-A, got down to Lansing and High A. Brady Basso was brought up yesterday by Bill. Do you have that ready to rock? Yep. Here it was yesterday on A's Cast Live, this program right here, if you weren't listening.
Linus and Brady Basso were both pitching great at Midland. They're both on the 40-man roster, and they both had ERAs around 3 at Midland, both striking out, maybe I think 11 or 12 guys per 9 innings there. They both got a brief 1 start at Vegas. Now they're back down at Midland, but with the injuries going on right now, they could be back up at Vegas soon too. So you've got a lot of promising arms there at Midland right now. Salinas, Basso, Hoagland, Cusick when he's healthy, and Jack Cushing made a start the other day at Midland.
So yeah, Bill brought it up yesterday. Royber Salinas also on the 40-man roster as well. So maybe we'll see him at some point.
So Basso is interesting. And a lot of guys from really like his era, he went to Oklahoma State, I believe. Was it Oklahoma or Oklahoma State? I'm going to say he's a Cowboy, not a Sooner.
Mike Gundy.
I'm a man. He's now almost 60, isn't he?
He's getting up there in age.
He's been coaching a long time at Oklahoma State.
Brady's 26, will be 27 in October.
Is it Oklahoma? I think he's
He's
a
Oklahoma
Cowboy.
State. Oklahoma State, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Cowboy.
Oklahoma State. What's he like, 15th, 16th round, something like that?
He was a 16th rounder in
Yeah.
2019.
Okay, so you got these guys that were drafted, and then what hit? COVID. And when you weren't a top pick, you didn't come here to the alternate site, which was in San Jose at San Jose Municipal Ballpark, home of the San Jose Giants and San Jose State Spartans. So you lost a year, and then after that, he had Tommy John surgery. So we're still dealing with this crop of kids that, whether you were drafted or you were in the minors or you were in college or you were in high school, we'll be dealing with these guys for years whose lives and careers were completely changed because of COVID. And he's one of them. So COVID hits, you lose a year, then you have Tommy John surgery. It's a great story. And if you watch highlights of him, lefty with a big, kind of the Barry Zito big curveball. Big left-handed curveball. I'm excited to see you're rewarding a guy you drafted. You're rewarding a guy that's performed for you. And he's got stuff. And this has been my whole point with Bill yesterday, as every single time we go into the offseason and you start signing all these guys, and yeah, Toro's been great, and Nevin has been Nevin was signed during the season. But at one point you go, where the hell are all the guys you drafted? Where are all the guys you draft, you teach? You're supposed to get these guys some of them to the big leagues. And stop telling me everybody has to be a first-round pick. Where's your third rounders, your fourth rounders, your 13th rounder? I mean, you got teams, you look at, teams are built in a lot of different ways. Not everybody's a first-round pick in baseball. We have there's been over 20,000 players. The draft started in 66? Not every great 65. Not every great player was a first-round draft pick.
Nolan Ryan was not.
So you got to figure out. Yeah, Johnny Bench was drafted behind Ray Fosse.
Correct. Yes.
You got to figure out how to get your guys that you draft, that we're paying money to teach these kids to be Major League Baseball players. It's your job and your organization to bring them up. You just can't always survive off other people's guys that they let go. And so that should be a challenge to everybody in our system. Start producing your own players. And then you're not talking about money. As we went through yesterday, you look at some of the best teams in baseball right now are the lowest payrolls in baseball. Stop using the money excuse. It's weak. We're the only sport that does that. And here you got a kid in the 16th round who's throwing well. Bring him up. Let's see what he's got.
6 starts in Midland. 1-1 with a 2.84 ERA, 32 strikeouts, and 25 1/3. So essentially, he's averaging around, be around a little over 4 innings a start.
You can't really go by innings anymore with these
kids. Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, I mean,
fact is, he's throwing the ball well. Yeah. It's in Midland. Forget AAA. AAA's a joke. We're just going to bring him up.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how teams have done that with position players, so maybe we'll start doing that with some. Because Royber Salinas is now in AAA, but he was in AA as well. So he would most likely probably be maybe the next guy to get a call. But there are guys in AAA also, like Freddie Tarnock's down there. He's starting to pitch. JT again was promoted. But yeah, it's good to see Brady up here because he's one of the guys that they've drafted and developed. And for Lawrence Butler to me, you could tell this is a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeves. He didn't look like he was having fun. And Lawrence Butler plays his best when life's great, life's grand, and he's having a good time. He needs to go back down, get it going again, and then bring him back up, which, by the way, happens with a lot of productive players. You got to get your taste up here. You got to get up here. You got to figure out it's really hard. It's really hard. Being one of the best in the world is hard. And staying here for a long time is hard. But Lawrence has got to get back to going down and seizing the moment and attacking it.
He just didn't look right. He didn't look right defensively at times. I didn't think he looked right last night on Bregman's double. I mean, that ball landed on the track. To me, that short kind of right field, even in that little corner right there where left center is meeting kind of left field. And I mean, a good right fielder is going to have that. He didn't have that. So whether it's defensively, offensively, Lawrence Butler, he's got the talent. We know he's got the talent. And we know that, or we don't know yet, but we hope that he is going to be a big part of this franchise going forward for a long time. I believe in the kid because we've seen when he's electric at spring training and everything's going good, this guy's got talent. He oozes talent. But failure and accepting failure and learning from failure is hard. Human beings don't like failing. It eats at us mentally. And then you don't know, how's he sleeping? How's he feeling? How's he, I mean, you don't know how people deal with failure. But that's something that he's going to have to deal with, that he's come up twice and it hasn't worked and he's going back down. And as we have all this stat cast, how we're be able to measure the actual instrument that guys use at the plate. It's called a bat, that we're able now to tell you that with this bat, how fast the bat's going, how well the contact is. You know, the one thing we know, he's got a quick bat. What he's not making is a lot of solid contact. So for him or Seth Brown, who I believe those are our two best bat speeds, right?
No, it's Butler and Brent Rooker.
Wasn't Seth Brown up there?
I think Brown was on the list, but I'd have to double check. But I think it was Butler and it was Rooker were the top two for us.
So Brown's one of them.
Yeah, let me see. Brown, Seth Brown. Yeah, 73.1. So I think
he's 65th in baseball, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying Rooker's ahead of him and Butler. So
but
those are top
65th.
3. Yeah.
How many position players are there?
Well, a lot, but
and he's 65th.
Yeah.
Well, our two out of our 3 then don't make contact. So it shows you it's great how fast you can swing the instrument, but can you make solid contact? And that's where Butler's got to go down and start making good contact again and get the spirits up, get the joy back, get back what makes Lawrence Butler. That's what he needs to do.
I mean, Mike Trout was set back down. I'm not saying Lawrence Butler's Mike Trout, but I'm using an example.
Everybody. I mean,
Matt Olson went down how many times?
It's very, very, very rare you have the guy that never goes back down and has all-star, incredible career, if not Hall of Fame. That's very rare, right? There's not a lot of those guys. It's a hard game, man. Hard game. It's hard. It's hard to hit. It's hard to pitch. Professional sports is hard. We don't talk enough about it. We make it as, because we got at one point in the 90s, really kind of late 80s into the 90s and where we are now, we all got into this talk radio world where everybody sucks, everybody's a choker, but it's hard. It's hard to play in the NFL. You're playing as the biggest, strongest, fastest human beings on the planet, killing each other every play. It's hard. The NBA, it's the tallest human being. It's the tallest, most athletic human beings on the planet. And you're running up and down the floor with these freaks. It's hard, right? Hockey, golf, tennis, to be the best in the world is really, really hard. And to stay there is really hard. And it's not all physical. A lot is mental. I do believe Lawrence Butler will be back, but he's got to go back down there. And the good thing about Las Vegas, when we talk about how it's like arena football, you can go down and get your confidence back by going down and hitting some pop flies that go out to be home runs. And you start feeling good. And you start, and Fran Reardon starts working on you. And next thing you know, you're back before you know it. But he's got to go back and he's got to get his mojo back because he doesn't have it. And another great spring, but he got out to a slow start. Young player, 2 great springs, finally makes the big club. Then he goes and gets off to a bad start. And then now you're chasing. Part of the problem is Lawrence Butler's been chasing this whole time. And that's part of the problem with putting those numbers up on the big board, right? You put those numbers up on the big board, You can have all your expected. Remember, Martin Gallegos tried to play the expected game with Lawrence Butler, but your expected doesn't matter. It's what you actually do. And when you get out to a bad start, you start chasing those numbers, and it's really, really hard. When you get off to a bad start, man, it's like you're looking up and you constantly. I mean, we're okay. Today's game 44, right? And you're batting a $181. 44 games in. Mark DeRosa said today on MLB Now, he said when he was playing for the Braves, Bobby Cox, the legendary manager for the Atlanta Braves, would always, and this is obviously later in Bobby Cox's career, but Bobby Cox at about the 40-game mark would call everybody together, Hall of Fame manager, and he'd say, all right, I've allowed you guys to do it your way. Now it's time to do it my way. And now the names on the back of the jerseys better start playing. Essentially, the dudes who are getting paid the money, you better start. It's time to get it going. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And we saw it last night. You got John Schneider?
Oh, yeah. Give me a second.
I mean, if there was a telling moment yesterday in Major League Baseball, I'm going to get to Astros. I'm going to get to A's. I got some really positive stuff about the A's, too, to go along with some not so positive. But there are some positive stuff that we need to highlight. But this, to me, was very telling that even the most homer broadcaster can't even go it's early anymore. Not even the most homer, most positive, like, oh, it's early. If you're doing that, you look like a fool. It's go time. Like, you got to, your boat's taking on water. There's one of two things that are going to happen. You're going to figure out how to stay afloat, or you're going to the bottom of the ocean. That's just how it is. And it's the responsibility of the people in charge of the roster, i.e. the front office, that if you're taking on water, they got to start making moves. And the more you keep taking on water, the more drastic the moves are. I mean, it's very rare, like what we saw last year with Bob Melvin and the Padres, where you kept having people go all year, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. How are they? I look at these numbers, but I look at the record. I look at this. They score runs. They pitch well. They do this, but yet they don't win one-run games. Yet they don't win in extra innings. They don't do that. And then at the very end, you go, you just spent all that money to go 500, and you didn't make any really big drastic moves, and you just kept saying, they'll turn it on. They'll turn it, like you keep waiting and keep waiting. And did they ever turn it on?
No.
You can't sit here and expect everybody to be like the 2012 A's. You can't expect everybody to be like the Nationals of 2019, right? Like where you say this team wasn't very good, but then all of a sudden they turned it on. Most teams who try and do that, they fail. The core that you have, it's not working. You need to make changes. But that to me is a little bit later. You're 40-something games in, right? So for the A's today will be game 44. For the Astros, it will be game 42. But last night, you've got a series starting between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. And the Blue Jays are this team that people have had these expectations. They've gotten to the playoffs. They're getting swept. They got all this talent. This talent has now gotten older. They got to start figuring out, well, are we really going to pay these guys big money and go forward? Are we going to marry these guys long-term? And Rogers, the communication company, cable, whatever, they're in Canada, they got boatloads of money. So they've just restructured, or I should say remodeled the entire Rogers Center, Sky Dome, and it's supposedly awesome. DeRosa was talking about that today. He said that might be part of the problem. It's like, he goes, it's the greatest clubhouse I've ever seen. Better than anything he's seen in football, anything. He goes, they got these saltwater pools. He goes, they have meditation rooms. They have nap rooms. Like this clubhouse, it's like a spa. And he goes, maybe that's the problem. And he told, one of my all-time favorites.
Well, Yeah, I know a lot of them, but
Sweet Lou.
oh yeah, of course.
Oh, Lou Piniella. And it's the reason why I texted Johnny Gomes today. Lou Piniella. So Mark DeRosa tells a story. What year was it? 07 or whatever. He says Lou Piniella keeps watching all these guys after every single at-bat walk up to the video room. Get out, walk up to the video room. Get out, walk up to the video room. Get out, and he just finally Lou loses it. Son, come here, son. Lou has them lock the video room during the game. So these guys, and it's just so Lou Piniella, right? He doesn't tell them he's going to lock it. Just all of a sudden, one day, one game, Lou Piniella has them lock the video room. Guy gets out. Guy walks up to the video room. What? It's locked. It's locked. Because he goes, gentlemen, you're going to win the game down here. The fight is down here, not up in the video room. During the game, you got to figure it out down here. And I'm like, God bless him. It's true. The game's here, boys. The process, the practice, all that goes into playing the game. Once you're playing the game, you're running back up to the video room, you're in trouble. You got to figure it out down here. You got to win the battle. You got to beat those guys in the other dugout. You got to beat those guys on the other side of the field in football. You got to beat those guys on the other side in hockey because you're on the same side. Yeah. Penalty box on the other side. Right? You got to beat. These are the guys you're playing. You're not playing the video. You got to beat the guy. Figure it out here. And it was a great lesson for whatever team that was.
I was curious the whole time we were talking about what team was Lou Piniella managing the
I think it was 07. He mentioned the year. I don't remember.
All right, let's see.
But I think it was 07.
D-Row in 07 was with the must have been the Cubs.
The Cubbies.
Because that's when Lou was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lou Piniella, 85 and 77.
85 and 77. Must have been a very small video room at Wrigley Field. Lock that S up. Can you imagine, Lou? You go up there and lock that effing room up and there. I can just hear it. Yes. Get down here. Get your ass down here and play.
Do you think he called the video people son too?
Son, well, no question. He had no clue who the video people were. Son, you lock that room. Yeah, you got to be a leader. You got to be, yeah. So the whole point is these guys got saltwater spas, nap rooms, meditation rooms. Man, is this the Ritz-Carlton or are we playing baseball? Where's the adversity? I don't know. I mean, DeRosa doesn't know, but he was just mentioning it today. DeRosa was on MLB Now today.
Was BK back?
No, the other guy from the NHL Network. But it's kind of true, right? It leads me back to Texas football, University of Texas, the Longhorns. Longhorns have had the greatest facilities like forever, right? They were like the original ones that had the locker room that's better than the NFL. Like they got everything. These kids at the University of Texas before NIL money, and you're like, but they play soft. They literally play soft. Texas's play. When's the last time the University of Texas? You got to go back to Vince Young and the Rose Bowl against USC. When's the last time they won a big game? They play soft.
I would say they've been competitive recently under Sark, but they didn't want anything big.
They don't want any big. Yeah. They got all these blue chip guys, and they don't win anything big. Are they soft?
I mean, Peyton's nephew's there.
I mean, this is what DeRosa's saying. It's like, man, you got all these guys in their nap rooms and their yoga, and they're playing soft. Maybe. I don't know. But John Snyder, I want you to play this because I thought this was so telling last night. Saw it on MLB Network, quick pitch. Then I saw it on Twitter. I mean, this tells you everything. If you're not, I mean, this. Let me go down the standings real quick before you play it. If you are the Blue Jays, who he's the manager of the Blue Jays, if you're the Tigers, if you're the A's, if you're the Astros, you're the Angels, you're the Nats, you're the Mets, who lost today, got shut out by the Phillies, you're the Pirates, you're the Reds, Cardinals are done, I'm not, Padres, D-backs, Giants, this is for you.
Told them before the game, there's no secrets here, boys. You're not getting pinch hit for. You're not getting pinch run for. So, Vogie, Kirky, I hope you're feeling fast. But, yeah, it's May 13th, but that's a huge win.
Now, what they cut out was effing win.
Yeah, they took it out.
Which that I'm kind of sad because that told more the point. As Bobby Knight used to say, the F word is a very powerful word and can be used a lot of different ways. But he said that's an effing big win because he's telling you right there, he's got pressure. His job's on the line. Your jobs are on the line. What are you going to do about it? And that's where we're at. You really want to know if you're the A's. You've played yourself into relevance. But now what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because last night's game, I didn't love. Bad defense, bad pitching. I mean, spare me on the Bregman broke out. If you can't hit 85-mile-an-hour hanging sliders, you can't. I don't even know what level of baseball. If you go back and look, a spinning 85-mile-an-hour pitch down the middle of the plate. If you can't hit that, you can't hit at any level. Any level. High school kids hit 85-mile-an-hour hanging sliders. That's what he got. Hanging sliders right down the middle. Defensive plays that were not good. Like, here you go. You're 19-24 if you're the A's. I think it's good that we have these conversations because that means the team's in it. I think it's good that people call the post-game show and they question some things because they're in it. Because remember last year by this point, it was like, what are we talking about? Well, we're going to talk about a lot of different other things. We're talking about winning. We're talking about being competitive, and I think that's good. But the problem is you got an Astros team who they've won 4 of 5. They've scored 29 runs during that stretch. That's 5.8 runs per game. So here you go, JP Sears. And you're looking at they've had the second toughest schedule to date if you want to play the schedule game by winning percentage. And right now they got 10 of the next 13 against the A's and the A's and the Angels. And Julia Morales is going to tell us how Joe Espada, their manager, said, hey, he has said to the Astros, this is your time. Because this is a stretch. If you beat up on the A's and Angels, you'll be back to 500 and raring to go. You've rallied through a very tough start, tough stretch, pitchers hurt, tough schedule. Now here you are with a chance. I mean, you're 16-25, but you beat up, like I guess he said to them, you shouldn't lose to the A's. I'm really curious to see exactly how she frames it or how she said Joe Espada put it to the team. But he basically said, you shouldn't beat these guys. Well, how do you feel about that if you're the A's? And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And last night, what did you do about it? Well, if you're built on winning, if you're built on home runs, you didn't hit a home run. You didn't play good defense. You didn't have great pitching. Ross Stripling, 5 innings. He only gave up 2, earned 3. But it's like
52 pitches gone. I don't understand that one.
Now, there are some positives. Brent Rooker continues to be. I almost wanted to use Brent Rooker as my hot take today.
Oh, don't. It's mine. I guess we can each have one.
Would it?
I can't tell you.
He's going to be an all-star?
Nope.
That's your hot take?
Nope.
I'll throw out a hot take right now. Brent Rooker is the all-star for the A's.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assumption.
Who right now is better than Brent Rooker?
Position play-wise, no one.
26 guys on the roster. Who's better than Brent Rooker?
Right now, no one. But I think that Mason Miller is going to be an all-star, though. If he keeps going like the way he is, he'll be an all-star.
That's just chalk because you just want to put a – but Mason Miller has had 2 appearances in May. He has been not even on the field.
Which is really surprising.
Not his fault.
Yeah.
But you're not – this is the whole thing. Like when people were calling me last night and asking, you can't trade it. I'm like, you have to understand a closer on a losing team isn't that valuable. Until you're now winning, a closer on a losing team is not super valuable. We love Mason Miller because he's exciting as hell and he's incredible. But if you're 19 and 24, your best player is not your closer. When a guy like Rooker's putting up the number he's put. Brent Rooker right now in May is leading all players on base percentage, RBIs, and what?
Slug.
Nope.
Batting average.
Batting average. You said it doesn't matter, but I think him hitting 463 in the month of May kind of matters. Has kind of brought up all those other numbers. 463. Put that on your bat speed, short bat, blast contacts. 463. I don't know where he registers on all the StatCast new stuff. I know he's hitting 463 in May, which is almost 500. You know what that means, Cody? That means for every 10 at-bats, 5 of them he's getting on with hitting. That's incredible. Brent Rooker has turned into a different dude. He's your best player.
I don't think there's any disputing that right now. There's no one even close.
He should be, like right now, if the All-Star game was right now, he's one of the best players in the game.
Right now, yeah.
And wouldn't you say outfield is the toughest position to make the All-Star game?
Yeah, and he's also, I think he's tied for 7th in baseball in home runs. So, but it's not even about the home runs right now. He's doing everything else.
Oh, I forgot to do this because, the other guy I love, and we got a long way to go, but I think he excited me the day he was traded. I just got to do this real quick. All right, so that's 9-6. JJ Bleday. JJ Bleday quietly just keeps hitting, right? And we talk about Rooker, we talk about Mason Miller. JJ Bleday just keeps hitting. JJ Bleday has a 10-game on-base streak. Did you know that?
I did until I read the notes.
He's hitting 308 during that time. Did you know that?
I knew he's been hitting better, but no.
6 extra base hits, 9 RBIs, and an OPS of 964. 10 games. What did we say? Play him. Play him. Play him against lefties. Play him against righties. Play him in center field and play him every day. He's all-world talent. I can't say it enough. You don't get drafted 4th overall out of college unless everybody was like, this dude's legit. The day of that first round of that draft, JJ Bleday was on the top of everybody's board. Some people probably liked him more than others, but I guarantee you he was a top 3 on everybody's board. If you go 4th overall, that means some people thought of you as number 1 or 2 or 3, 5. You're definitely top 10 in everybody's board. That's the kind of talent we've said, we just don't have a guy like that. We just don't have a guy like that. Well, we finally got a guy like that. When you start talking about, the Orioles, they got all these first-round picks. That's what JJ Bleday is. And you're seeing by playing him every day, a guy learn. Once again, you learn through successes and you learn through failures. And it's fun to watch. Dude, he's driving the ball the other way now. They had him such, as Mark Kotze's explained to us, elbow down, launch. It gets you. He's back to driving the baseball. And that's the big thing about these new StatCast is show me the guys who are making the quality contact, because those are the guys that know where the barrel is. Barrel of the ball. They know where their barrel is. They're making great contact. JJ Bleday is showing us that. So that is a really good sign. And I'll give you another one for Captain Positive today. Captain Positive on Tuesday. How about Tyler Soderstrom? Does he not look like a different hitter? Twice going the other way, base hit and double yesterday. Back in the lineup today. I love it at first base. Hello, front office. We were calling for this last year. You kept sticking him behind the dish, and we were like last year in spring training going, put him at first, put him at first. Remember that?
Yeah. Now he's doing it, and then he's in the lineup at first today. And then there's another thing that we've both talked about a lot the last couple of days is who's DHing today. Kyle McCann's DHing.
Yeah.
So, and he's been swinging a good bat when he's in the lineup playing, when Shea needs a day off. Now he's the agent. So you're getting to see some of these things that we wanted to see. Gallup's back in the lineup. He's hitting 6.
Yes.
So,
you know what? Zach Geloff, time to go. Time to get going. Here we go. Time to get going.
You want to be more positive. Like I just did this because I was just curious to see what we.
Oh, my God. The positivity is flowing.
In the month of May in the American League, the A's lead in runs scored with 75, home runs with 20, slugging percentage at 467, and OPS at 813 on offense. They're second in batting average. They are hitting 262 as a team. The Rays are the only team ahead of them at 263. They are second in walks with 49. The Rays have 51. And they are second in on-base percentage at 346. The Rays have 351. So there you go. The A's in the month of May are just killing it on offense. Now the starting pitching needs to be better, but the offense is coming around, which we wanted to see. So the lead in runs, home runs, slug, and OPS when we were watching what this team was doing in April is a really good sign. Plus everything with Brent Rooker doing too. I mean, that helps a lot.
No doubt. Well, it helped. Like you start looking down the line, how so many. I mean, Abraham Toro has been so good. So an offense that is built on no money, because we're all concerned about money. Now, my favorite one is look at the Giants. The Giants have the same record as the A's, but the Giants payroll, like we're the sport that is always going to think that money is the reason why people win or lose. It's human performance. Whether the human makes $25 million or the human makes $800,000, whoever performs better wins. Now, what you base their worth at and pay them, whatever. But just because somebody makes more money than the other guy doesn't mean you're going to win. I mean, those comparisons are just ridiculous. It drives me nuts. But right now, you got guys. This offense is humming. Didn't hum last night, but it's humming. Now the question is, can you get the pitching going? Because the pitching's starting to leak oil, especially the starters.
Yeah, I mean now with Blackburn on the injured list, and you don't know what's going on with Alex Wood, and you have Aaron Brooks is back. Yes, Aaron Brooks is going to start this week, and then Brady Basso is now up. So the starting pitching starting to look a little thin. But hopefully Luis Medina will be back in a few weeks. You saw what happened with Ken Waldichuk, where he's going to be out for an extended period. We don't know the timeline on that, but I guess we'll get more details. But he's having shoulder or elbow surgery, which is not what
well. You just know that you're not going to have Ken Waldichuk this year.
Yeah,
like Ken Waldichuk, we will follow it. We'll give you updates, but when you're in mid-May and you're about to head to June, you're having another surgery. He's not going to be good luck to him, but you got the rest of the season. You pretty much got to move forward, knowing that you're not going to have Ken Waldichuk. But right now, Houston's feeling it. What are you going to do about it? Like John Schneider said last night, their win against Baltimore, that was effing big. Baseball edited out effing, but it was effing big. Well, what are you going to do tonight? You got a 4-game set. You had a 4-game set in New York. You split it, right?
Correct.
2-2.
Yep.
What are you going to do in this 4-game set? Because after this is no day at the beach. Why? Because you got the Kansas City Royals.
They're playing well.
Yeah.
And they're the best. And on Friday, you got to go up against arguably maybe the best free agent signing so far besides Ohtani, and then the guy that's leading the American League in ERA and Seth Lugo. So they're facing Brunel Blanco tonight, who on paper has been the Astros' best starting pitcher. Well, they've all been hurt, but he's been pretty good. Threw a no-hitter this year. So what are you going to do against him? This could be a statement game. No, we're not going to go must win. I don't know if it's too early for that, but John Schneider said it was a must win essentially for them last night. But what can you do against a guy that's pitched well all year? Because the Astros have not done well for the rest of their starting pitchers. So get to Blanco early, get to that bullpen. Because Ryan Presley, he didn't look great in the back end of the bullpen for them last night. I know we got Seth Brown on the 3-2 pitch right down the middle essentially. But get to Blanco early and get to that Astros bullpen, which has been not great this year for them.
Can I tell you something funny?
Sure.
This is funny. To watch people act a certain way, and then all of a sudden they realize what they liked and what they wanted is not good after all. And to watch the 180 where now you have to go, oh my God, there's a problem. What do we do? And then there's people like me who go, wait a minute. You liked how this was going. What do you mean there's a problem? You were all in on this. You were all in on this. You guys were loving it. You told me bring big stiff out of the bullpen who throws 100 miles an hour, then go get me another big stiff who throws, and just keep throwing these guys. That's what you got to do. I'm looking right now on X. Rates and Barrels, our buddy Eno Saris. New episode out with Britt Giroli. For years she covered, we had her on the program, she covered the Orioles. She now works for the Athletics. Focusing on preserving starting pitching. Then right above that, The Athletic. The existential crisis.
Yeah, that's our close honey.
MLB faces today is not only the health of the modern starting pitcher, but the role those starters play in sports these days. 1975. Percentage of games pitched by the starting pitcher, just 6 or more innings. It was 70%. Now it's under 40. You guys wanted the bullpen. You guys loved bullpenning, loved what the Rays were doing. Now you're going to send me articles saying we have an existential crisis? A couple years ago, you said you loved this. You loved it. You love what the Rays are doing. Oh, my God, we have openers now. Remember, everybody was into openers? You love the opener. Now, all of a sudden, you're sending me articles saying we got a crisis? I don't know. I have a hard time following it. Where are we? Is it great to have a bunch of nobodies coming in from the bullpen to pitch and diminishing the starters so we don't have to pay them? And third time through the lineup. Oh, my God, here's third time through the lineup. I mean, I'm confused. Where are we with this? Are we the bullpen's great or we have a crisis? Because sounds like everybody's starting to talk out of both sides of their mouth. Do we got a crisis or we not have a crisis? Where are we? Because some of us always thought it was a crisis. Now I'm getting the people who love the bullpens now telling me there's a crisis. I am just somebody who likes consistency. Do we have a drought or do we not have a drought? Where are we with that? Do we have a homeless problem or do we not have a homeless problem? Do we got a starters problem or do we not have a starters problem? Where are we? Was it May 14th?
Correct. May 14th.
We're not doing May the 14th start.
No,
that's
no,
only
no,
May
no.
the 4th, not the 14th.
And Revenge of the 5th.
So I know I'm being a little dramatic here for effect, but tell me, what do we got? Do we got a crisis or do we love staffing it? And we love our bullpens and we love the analytics. Where are we? Because I'm watching people and authors who used to love this style of baseball, promoted the opener, couldn't get enough of telling me how good the Rays were with the opener, now telling me there's a crisis. I'll wait. I got plenty of time. I got till what time's first pitch? 5?
5:10.
5:10. I got till 4:45 for you to tell me whether we're in a crisis or, oh, no, this is what we always wanted. We love it.
I think it's a crisis. But everyone jumped in on a trend. I'm guilty of that. I mean, you're telling me you've never jumped in on a trend before?
Do you see me wearing bell bottoms?
No.
Do you see me having a different haircut?
No.
Consistency. In fashion. My mother was in men's fashion for all these years. You know what my mother always used to say? With all you young guys wearing your pants short so you could show your socks, because that's the new trend. My mom said in men's fashion, and it's been this way going back to the greatest designers of all time in Paris. Classic never goes out of style. Consistency. I rather hit the golf ball down the middle where I can find it than trying to hit it as hard as I can and have it be, I may hit it super far or I may hit it super far left or super far right. I'd rather be consistent down the middle. I'm a consistent, that's how I live my life. I'm not crazy. I'm a traditionalist. I'm somebody that doesn't take major risks financially. I'm not that guy. I've never been that person. I'm not a big risk taker. I like consistency. My stocks are consistent. My portfolios, everything I do, I like to be consistent. And I'm not doing stuff because other people are doing it. I just don't. So no.
Okay.
But we have a crisis.
I mean, after reading that article, yeah. I mean, the way that
I haven't even read the article.
Yeah. I mean, I told you
I've been saying, at least give me some props. I've been saying this for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I went back and looked because Bill brought it up yesterday, and we talked about it a little bit how we're doing tandem starts in low A and high A, and I went back and looked.
I liked it.
And right now, like our starters in low A are averaging like 3.8 innings pitched, so around 4, which isn't bad. Rancho Cucamonga, the Dodgers low A team,
Can I do it real quick?
Yeah.
Rancho Cucamonga, hello.
They don't even hit 3 innings.
I always think about Larry King with Rancho Cucamonga.
Well, every time I hear you do it when you're getting ready for a pregame, I always laugh. The Dodgers starting pitchers in low A in the Cal League are not even hitting 3 innings pitched. So we had definitely, I mean, this is the way the organizations are training guys to go now.
Then I'd ask you this. What is baseball selling? You're a business, right? You're a business. You're selling something. What do you want to? You're Disneyland. You have these parks. What do you call them? It's the happiest place on earth. You come here, give us all your money, you ride rides, you buy more stuff. It's the happiest place on earth, right? Coca-Cola, Budweiser, biggest brands you know. You're selling, you have an identity. You're selling something. What is baseball's identity right now? What are you selling?
I don't mean to laugh, but I don't think they know. For a while, it was, we're going to sell home runs, but now no. Then the home runs went down, and we're selling the dominant starting pitcher, and then now we're not selling the starting pitcher, but now we want to sell the starting pitcher again. But guys aren't pitching deep enough in the game, so I don't think they know.
Like if you had to pinpoint one thing that you can base, like we know what the NFL is selling these days? Americana. Like they weathered the storm of COVID and George Floyd, Colin Kaepernick. They weathered that. The shield, always about the shield. But right now, what do? They put a big old American flag out before every single game. They got fighter jets coming over the stadium. They're selling Americana. They're selling football. We're football. This is what we do. I worked in it. I saw it. What are they doing every single game? They're honoring servicemen and women. There is a thing. The NFL. This is who we are, and they're inclusion, and they're doing a lot of different things. But they're selling football America right now. What baseball used to do? What is baseball now? It's a great question. What are you selling?
I don't have the answer. I wish I did.
You're supposed to have the answers.
You
read all the articles. You're supposed to have the answers.
I mean, I believe it or not, I'll admit I usually do have an answer. I don't have an answer for this one. This is out of my depth.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough, and I know Trevor Gott's going to join us, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about the demise of the starting pitcher. Because to me, it's sad. Because that's one thing that for all of us growing up. And I actually mentioned this the other day doing TV on NBC, where I said, when I was a kid and I got my driver's license growing up in San Diego, I drove my Volkswagen Bug. I drove up to Anaheim to watch Nolan Ryan pitch because they kept saying, this is it. These are Texas Rangers. This is it. Nolan Ryan's not going to pitch anymore. So we would drive up, buddies of mine, we'd get my Volkswagen Bug and we'd drive up to the Big A to watch Nolan Ryan. Who's getting in cars to watch who pitch when? The starting pitcher used to be the star. Clemens versus Dave Stewart, right? That's what we love. Like Verlander's that guy now, but we used to have these guys. You know how much you grew up liking Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
Like you think of Randy Johnson. I remember, Randy Johnson. Now you wanted to see Randy Johnson pitch because when Randy Johnson went out there, kind of like what it would have been years ago with Sandy Koufax, you don't know what's going to happen. Perfect game, no hitter, strikeouts, dominance. Let's bring on a guy who knows a heck of a lot more about pitching than us. Do we got him? Trevor, how are you?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. First of all, how's everything with you right now?
It's going great. I just got home from PT actually, so I was at the Coliseum all morning.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't understand life of a Major League Baseball player when they're hurt. Like we're used to seeing you guys in uniform show up every single day. So just take us through the life, like teams on the road, you're showing up, not everybody's there. What's it like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, no, I know a lot of teams, they'll send their guys to their spring training complex to do their rehabs and stuff. But with Oakland, they keep a lot of us here in Oakland, which I think is nice, especially for an injury like mine where I'm going to be out all season. Keeps my mind and mental where it needs to be.
Yeah.
When the team's not here, I mean, I'm in every morning with Elliot, and there's a couple other guys, obviously, that are on the IL. And, I mean, we get all our treatment done, work out, just hang out. And then when the team's here, I mean, we get to be a part of the clubhouse, the pregame stuff, the postgame wins and all that. And so I think Oakland does a great job keeping guys here just mentally. It honestly, I think, is just the best. I couldn't imagine being down in 120-degree weather right now, kind of just going through stuff. So it makes me feel like I'm still part of the team.
I love how you put that because there's the brotherhood.
Correct.
And people talk about when you're injured, you lose the brotherhood. Like we send you, let's say we send you down to Mesa, and every day you drive in, you do your stuff, you go home, and it's just like you're just some hurt guy that's off in the – and I've seen you playing cards, right?
Yeah.
And for you to put the uniform on, to still joke around with the guys, to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like it'll help you heal faster from a standpoint of happy, the mentality is healthy, mentality is good, because obviously this is a very dramatic thing in your life. Your job is to pitch, and right now you can't pitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I look at it. I get to be in there, talk to guys if they need help with anything. I'm one of the older guys on the team, and I mean, it's just a great group of guys, a great staff, great training staff, and I'm just glad that I'm here in Oakland, and it's been huge for my mental. I know guys in the past that get kind of shipped off, and then they feel like they're just forgotten about. So it's really helped. I think it does help you heal faster. Obviously, mental health is a huge thing, and life in general, not just for baseball players. But so yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be here and just doing whatever I can to keep the guys loose when they're at home, and just try to be a part of the team as much as possible. And I look at my rehab as I'm not getting ready for the games anymore, but there's milestones that I need to reach. And so that's my competition right now.
Before we get into the surgery, when the team is at home and you still have a lot of young pitchers in that clubhouse and guys who are still learning how to do the job on a daily basis. I mean, Lucas Erceg is still learning how to pitch. Yeah. I mean, not long ago, he was a position player hitting bombs, right? So it's like, so how much have you become more of a mentor during this time to some of these guys who really need that help?
I wouldn't say that I'm a mentor so much in the aspect of how they attack certain hitters or like lineups and all that stuff. I haven't gone too far into that with them, but if they have any questions or just me being there, like, hey, if you need a day, don't be afraid to speak up. If you need this, don't be afraid to speak up. Like just little things that help you get to the point to where you can call yourself a veteran, this and that, because this game's hard. And I mean, especially when you're not established, it can take a toll on you. You want to be out there every day. You want to be pitching the best and all that, but that's just not realistic. And as a young guy, I thought it was realistic, and it's just not. And I had guys tell me, hey, you're a part of this team. You mean something to this team. if you have a bad outing, you don't need to worry about getting sent down, this and that. Those are things you can't control. Just control what you can. If you're not feeling well, if you're not doing this, like, just be open to the coaches, be able to communicate, training staff, and just stuff like that, just to help them get through a season, because it's really hard.
It's hard. Like,
Yeah.
people, I mean, and it doesn't matter if we're talking baseball, we're talking the NFL. We actually brought this up earlier today where I was like, hey, listen, you're playing in the NBA, you're playing against the tallest, most athletic human beings on the planet. You go out on the PGA Tour, you're playing tennis, you're playing hockey, you're playing against the best in the world, and it's really, really hard to get there, and then it's even harder to stay there for a long time.
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's kind of where I feel like I've stepped in and just been able to be kind of a sounding board to guys that just to help them learn how to get through a season. It's not, like you said, it's not easy going out there and competing, and there's never a day where we feel 100%. I promise you that. And it's just knowing, when do I need a day, and taking that day as opposed to that day turning into multiple weeks or this and that. And it's just, but I feel like the group here has been great. Staff's great. Training staff's great. Everyone's on the same page. Communication is great. So that's how you do it. That's how you get through a season. So.
All right, let's talk about the surgery, because obviously now you know more about it than obviously you did before. You go through the process.
No more than I want to know about it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Keith Meister, who has been somebody we've learned a lot about, because he has been out there talking about, he's very worried for young pitchers. He came up with this brace. And now we have, with Tommy John surgery, people are getting the Tommy John procedure and they're getting the brace. There's only been so many people who have gotten that. You're one of the very few. Just take us through the whole procedure, what you've learned, and expectations, and just the whole deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a surgery that Meister has come up with, and it's proven to be very effective. And obviously you get in there with him and you listen to him talk. He's a brilliant guy. You can't walk out of the room and not trust everything that he said. He's an amazing person, very bright doctor, surgeon. And so, yeah, I had the reconstructive surgery and with the internal brace, and I had a bone spur removed as well. So, I mean, tomorrow I'll be 6 weeks out. I got my full range of motion and stuff back, so we're on schedule. And kind of what I touched on earlier is just I'm taking this process one step at a time, trying to reach each milestone and all that. And that's kind of how I'm getting through this season. I try to make it seem like a baseball season as much as possible, like staying on the routine. Oh, when I was pitching, I used to try to get better at this. Now I'm in rehab. I need to get to this point with my arm. I need to get to this whatever in a certain amount of time. And so that's kind of how I'm competing with myself and this injury, and just trying to get through it and stay positive. So
explain the brace and what the benefits are to it.
So I probably won't explain it well. What I know about it is it's just a little more reinforcement in there. They repair the ligament and all that, and then they take a tendon from the wrist or hamstring or wherever they have to take it from, depending on the guy. And the brace is just a little extra reinforcement on that. From what I have learned, is to make the surgery have a longer lifespan, to where you don't need the second Tommy John surgery and that kind of stuff. So that's why I got on that.
Was it a great feeling to know that, okay, I'm getting this new, and I'm getting like this, for other guys, they got it experimental. You think way back when, I mean, how experimental this was. I mean, for you, kind of peace of mind, like, I get it. I got it. I got the brace. However long my career is going to be, I'm going to be able to come back and be Trevor Gott again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a peace of mind. I mean, I feel like us as athletes, whenever you're dealing with something and you're not performing to where you want to be, you're not feeling great out there, and just being diagnosed, knowing that, like, I didn't just lose it. There was a reason, first off, that I wasn't performing well. My stuff was playing down and all that. And then to be able to get something that has proven to extend careers, and people come back. They do come back stronger. Obviously, you have to put the work in. That's all how much you want to put into the rehab. And so I just figure if I can do what they tell me to do, this training staff's great. Elliot, the PT's great. Meister, obviously, I can call him up right now and ask him any questions that I want. He's been a great resource, and it's just listening to them and putting in all the work. And I feel like I'm very confident with what they're telling me that I'll come back and be Trevor Gott, if not better. So
when you think about all the guys that you've played with over the years who have gotten this, and now that you have gotten this, is there something you think back on that maybe could have been different, or how we potentially could prevent so many guys from having this? Because years ago, not a lot of guys got the surgery. Now we're seeing a lot of guys get it.
Yeah. And I don't know the numbers on a couple years ago to now on who's getting Tommy John, who's not. But I do remember coming up, it used to be like, oh, he's getting Tommy John. Like, this is awful. And now it's just like, okay, he's getting Tommy John. He'll be back next year, you know? And so I think the way people think about it has changed a lot in terms of it's gotten so successful that while it's a big deal, it's not like, oh, my career's over type thing. I just think it's how the game has evolved. It's everyone wants to throw and spin every pitch as hard as they possibly can, which not that people weren't doing that to begin with. It's just now I can throw a pitch and I can look down at a screen and I know exactly the velocity, spin, all this stuff, shape, all that. And then, oh, I want to make this better. I want to make that better. And there's no end to that. And how hard and you can throw and spin a baseball now. Everyone's just chasing numbers, in my opinion. And while it's good for the game, you're going to see more guys throwing hard. You're going to see more this and that. You're also going to see more injuries, and that's just the way it's going to be. It's a violent game. There's violent motions in it, and that's just how I look at it. Now it's not if you're going to get Tommy John, it's win. So
yeah, it's hard to believe. And that's, kind of like what you talked about when looking at the screen and pitching to the numbers.
Yeah.
You kind of hope that young pitchers realize don't do that until you become the pro. Just learn how to pitch, right? Wouldn't that be great advice to be like, don't do this until later on?
I think so. I mean, coming up, my bullpens were throw strikes. Like, it was all we had to use our eyes. Did that look good? Did that look good? And I mean, I was always told the hitters will give you the feedback. You don't need to look at screens all the time. And I think just guys are just chasing not unrealistic numbers, because what we thought was unrealistic is being reached now. But it's not a way to have a long career, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, let's end on this. Now, you've been able to sit back from afar at times, and obviously you're still in the clubhouse. Just tell us kind of your overview of what you think about this team so far. They've definitely exceeded everybody's expectations.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone in the clubhouse is surprised. I mean, if you look at the talent that we do have, obviously everyone's young. It's even if you watch one of our games, most games were just one or two little mistakes that young players tend to make, and they have to learn from them and stuff. But I feel like we've been in a lot of games, and it's just one or two plays that you'll see, or one inning that kind of gets out of hand, that it might start on a defensive play or missing a cutoff man or this and that. And it's just little things that young guys have to learn. And the only way they learn is playing. But I'm not surprised. We have a great pitching staff. The lineup is feisty in terms of, I feel like they're putting together really good at bats, even if it's not a hit or not. It looks like even playing against them last year, I remember this lineup and stuff. Everyone's gotten better and better and better at just putting together at bats and throwing strikes, and the defense is cleaning up even from the beginning of the season. And it's just a fun team to watch, and I think they're in a good spot moving forward.
This clubhouse, this team's got heart. It's got courage.
Yep.
Didn't have it last year because last year is just so many different. It's hard when you move so many human beings in and out of a situation for really people to come together. It's more like everybody's got to have name tags. But you look at what we saw this year down at spring training and where the team now is, they got heart. They got something.
They do. They do. It's a good group of guys. They want to win. I mean, they work their ass off. It's fun to watch from afar now. Even though I'm not in it, I just watch all the guys, and they go about stuff the right way. So I'm proud of them and just happy I can sit there and watch,
Well, hey, let me tell you, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And let's do this again and kind of follow your journey because there'll be a lot of throwing involved. There's a lot that goes through, and just kind of educate people what it's like because obviously you've got the brace. This is something new. And we know you're going to be back, and you got a lot of years left in your career. But let's follow this through. And thank you for the time. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all having me and gave me something to look forward to. So feel
Good.
more like a baseball player being able to talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you said you want to do what's normal, talking to people and talking to. This is what you guys do.
Absolutely, yeah. So no, I'll be happy to be on whenever you want me, Chris.
Great stuff. You be well.
All right, you too. See you, man.
Trevor Gott of your Oakland Athletics. And yeah, that's a really interesting deal. I would think great peace of mind that I got a surgery and I got the brace that I know, because that's always kind of been the thing. Like I remember when Chris Bassett went through his struggles, you're always worried, like, when's it going to happen again? Is it going to happen? Like getting the brace, knowing that I've got a really, really good shot. This is never going to happen to me again. That's really good peace of mind. He had some very, very interesting things to say there. I know we haven't got to any commercials yet. We got to pay some bills, but good show, right? I mean, when you're going, you're moving, let's go. But I've mentioned golf and baseball so much because it's amazing how intertwined they are. When you watch anything PGA Tour or even Live Golf now with guys on the range and they're doing interviews and stuff, they hit balls, look at screen. Hit balls, look at screen. What did he just say? We'll talk about it next, right here on A's Cast Live.
And the next begin. Across the railroad tracks, on the other side of the river? Is it between the east side and the west side? At Comerica Bank, we believe it's all one community, and we're all part of it. That's why Comerica has invested over $20 million for affordable housing, financial education, and workforce development in lower-income communities. Because when we raise expectations for everyone, we all rise. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Whether it's a midweek trip to the ballpark to catch a game or a weekend of baseball for the family, grab your tickets for an A's game this season. Secure your seats today for all the biggest matchups, fireworks, drone shows, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on all the things happening this season.
Rose and Seth. It's a drive into center. It's deep, and Straw is back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
So grab yours now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Baseball season is officially here, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the first product of the season, Topps Baseball Series 1. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
Hi, fans. This season, Kingsford Capital Management is the official hedge fund sponsor of the Oakland A's. At Kingsford, down to business is their way of seeing the world. Investing has its pitfalls, treacherous chasms of half-truth and despair. Kingsford's mission is to create opportunity through application of proven innovation and entrepreneurial focus with trust, tenacity, loyalty, and growth, establishing a strong reputation as a proven intendant and validated bedrock of American finance. Kingsford Capital, down to business.
This is the place where you can dance like nobody's watching, win like nobody's business, and get away like you mean it. So what are you waiting for? Come join the party. Take that evening out and make it a night you'll never forget. This kind of action can't be beat.
This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
With more sunshine returning, it's time to get outside and make the most of what Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Like 27 championship caliber holes tucked in the beautiful hills of San Jose. And take advantage of their amazing Bay Area views for your next special event. It's all for you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club, an award-winning venue designed to peacefully take you away from the bustle of Silicon Valley. Go to cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
You deserve extra. Extra Mile is where you get it. You don't just deserve breakfast. You deserve extra fresh Mile 1 coffee just the way you like it. You deserve more than a quick bite. You deserve an extra satisfying array of hot foods, extra good snacks, and fountain drinks that help you go the extra mile. Plus, with Extra Mile rewards, you can earn free stuff. Visit Extra Mile at select Chevron and Texaco locations. See program terms and conditions for details.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
And the underdog Oakland Athletics win their first championship since they were in Philadelphia in 1930.
Hi, I'm Raleigh Fingers, Hall of Famer, 3-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's and World Series MVP. Winning takes teamwork, skill, and heart. So when you need an ace for a personal injury lawyer that will win you the game, go with the winning team. Call Venardi Zerata at 833-VZ for me, or go to vzlawfirm.com. Venardi Serrata, the official injury law firm of the Oakland A's.
Like sports, business is about winning. Championship decisions are business decisions based on what it takes to help your company win. And that's why there's UBO Business Services, specializing in helping you win every day by streamlining workflows, managing documents, and providing the best-in-class office technology. Make your championship decision with UBO Business Services. Visit them at ubeo.com. That's ubeo.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
I just saw something on X. Can you bring it up yet?
I need a second, but yeah, I can get it.
All right. On a day of a lot of positivity, other than getting on Cody, I'm making Cody the scapegoat for all of baseball about starting pitchers. It's Cody's fault. He's got to answer for it because he was one of them. Other than that, it's a day of positivity. We told you how good Rooker's been. We've told you J.J. Bleday, awesome. Tyler Soderstrom, last 4 games hitting .375, back in the lineup today. But there is a certain A's prospect who I really like this guy. And he's a Bay Area guy. That helps. He has been on the show multiple times. I have hosted the Santa Clara County baseball banquet when he's been honored. I am just a really, really, really big Henry Bolte fan. Second round pick. I remember when he walked up, I always joke he looks like he's a grown man with like a little kid's face. Like he's going to be like, he's the kind of guy that will be 40 years. No, I won't say it. He'll be the kind of guy that'll be in his 30s and get carded.
That's a fair assessment.
Right? And that, by the way, is an unbelievable trait. Like, don't we all want to look young forever? Certain people just don't look their age. And that's a great thing. Like, you hate it when you're young. Like, people hate when they, you're 25 years old, but you look like you're 18. You hate that. But then all of a sudden you're 42 and you look like you're 28 and you love it, right? Henry Bolte will look young forever. Wait till you see this. This is great news. Lansing Lugnuts have put this out. But what I want you, okay, the numbers are great. But what I want you can't, for obviously, there's play-by-play. Is it? It
would be, if it's Lansing, it's hopefully Jesse Goldberg.
Jesse Goldberg Strassler. If it's Jesse, if you're just listening to us on Ace Cast, you're going to like hearing this. I'm going to give you the numbers. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to see how big this kid has become. Look at the shoulders. Look at the legs. He looks like a linebacker. Henry Bolte is a grown-ass man now hitting bombs at Lansing, and he's still a kid. Ready? Go.
The wind blows on the front end of his jersey. Next pitch, Bolte puts it in the air to left center field. Campbell is looking up, and Bolte is sprinting, but he could slow down. He's left the yard. Lost his helmet. He was trying to leg a triple. It's a four-bagger for the young man, the 20-year-old Bolte.
He crossed the plate. Look how big his shoulders and legs are.
Within one.
He looks like look at this guy. He looks like a modern-day linebacker. You want your linebacker to be like 220, 225?
Also, I think that was that might have been Jesse's broadcast partner. I think it's Adam Jackson is his name. So,
did you see that he's 20 years old? He's 6'3", 195 pounds. I mean, second-round pick out of Palo Alto High. Two things you can't teach: size and speed. Can't teach it. Doesn't matter the sport. You cannot teach it. And this kid's got it. And once again, he's a Bay Area kid from Palo Alto High School. Second-round pick by the A's. And his numbers in Lansing are pretty damn good. And he's a lot of fun. I can't wait. He's going to be here. Well, he's homered back-to-back days. How many homers in that? You still have it up there. They have the numbers up there. Mine refreshed on me.
Hold on. Let me exit the full screen here. He's back-to-back home runs and driven in 9 runs over his last 5 contests.
Yeah.
How's he only our number 10 prospect?
Yeah, that's whenever that top 30 comes out and when you get to know these kids and you have the international kids mixed with the guys you draft and they start waiting and you go, I don't know, man, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's 20 years old and he's hitting bombs. He runs like the wind. It's like Basso coming up right now. He's a 16th round pick. I mean, it's one of the things that we're going to talk about coming up here in a minute. It's you think of how the Astros have been so successful for so long pitching in the international market. When they were bringing a bunch of these guys up, no one knew who they were, right? Jeffrey Lunau was, and they were out there and they were spreading small amounts of cash, but all over Latin America. And let's see how many of these guys show up and actually become good. And a lot of them did. But when they were signing if they were giving guys 50,000, 75,000, people weren't ranking them in the system. Who was Framber Valdez back in the day?
Yeah.
Right? When he was, can you find me anywhere when he was signed that someone did an article on it?
Or Christian Javier.
Anybody in the world could have had Jose Altuve back in the day. Anybody could have had him.
Or Jose Urquidy.
That's the thing about the Astros. Everybody want to talk about the rebuild, and they want to talk about the pick. The way the Astros are built and why they've been so great for so long, as now we all brag about the Orioles and everything. But, I mean, the bottom line is they found a lot of guys that anybody could have had, and they've won championships with these guys. We got Julia ready to go, right?
Yep.
Julia, welcome to A's Cast Live. How are you?
I'm so good. We are getting ready for another one. I am enjoying the convo about some of these Latin starting pitchers for the Astros because it really has been – it's a great story. It's a great story that I've been able to cover. I've gotten to know those guys over the years. They're super tight, but they're huge. They're huge for this club and what they've done the last few years.
Yeah, when you talk about everything's a copycat league and you want to replicate what the Astros have done, obviously it's pretty historic. All these ALCS trips, going to the World Series, winning a couple World Series. It's really hard to do because back when Jeffrey Lunau and they were starting all this, Bo Porter was the manager, the team wasn't winning. Everybody wanted to talk about draft picks. You go, draft picks? Yeah, some of those guys work, some of those guys different, but the international signings have been huge, and any of the other teams in baseball could have done the exact same thing.
Yeah, you're right. And he believed in that. Jeff believed in that back in the day. I remember hearing him talk about that. I remember the staff, they had a legit staff of guys who were focused on that. Ozzo Campo, who's now with the Marlins organization, did such a great job over the years looking for those guys, signing those guys, and then helping them develop, keeping that relationship with them, putting them all in the English classes. There was a really cool school that they would all enter when they started working out and working their way up. It was a big deal back then to them. And yeah, you're right. There wasn't a lot of talk at this level, but boy, did it work out for a lot of those guys, and even some of them are older. There's the Jose Altuve and some of these guys who signed when they were super young, but I've also seen the Astros have success with signing guys a little older, like a Fromber, Ronel Blanco, who's 30 years old now, but I mean, that was a later start. You always hear about them signing these Latin American guys at such young ages, but they took a chance on some of the older ones too, and it definitely worked out.
What's interesting about your career is that you've been through all of this, right?
Yeah, I saw it all.
You saw before the Lunau, during the Lunau, after. I mean, you've been through. What has this ride been? We've seen, kind of like Oakland. We've seen a lot of craziness, and the craziness continues. But you've been through the whole party.
No, it's a great question. My timing was everything to be able to really, truly enjoy what we've gone through the last decade or so, just because of where I started and where this organization was when I started. But you're right. I mean, we were just talking about, because Josh Reddick's doing radio this series for the Astros, and we were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, that was back when we could not stand you, and we could not stand the A's because, when in those lean years, those tough years in 2013 specifically, when that team was just really like rock bottom, we'd roll into the Coliseum and it was like, there's no way we're coming out of here with a W. There's absolutely no way. And, the Jed Lowrys were driving us nuts. And the way that they played, and Reddick was all Reddick, and Coco Crisp was going on. I mean, it's like those were great teams for the A's, but those were really bad times for the Astros, who couldn't get out of the first inning with their starting pitcher night after night after night. So to think back on those times, and I kept hearing, trust the process. I remember there were shirts made, and it was kind of an eye roll. It was just like, what are we doing with this at the time? But it really was truly what you had to do. And those of us who kind of bought into the analytics, I remember seeing the OPS being thrown up on the Jumbotron way before people were talking about OPS, and it kind of being like, that the players talking about it. I remember the players complaining about the shift. The Astros were very, very progressive. And so sticking with it, 2015, obviously a huge shift when AJ Hinch came in, and, it shot off like a rocket from there. All the winning, continuing the winning. A lot of guys we've seen just really peak at the same time. Really, really great culture. And it's being tested right now, with all the struggles that they've had so far this year. That clubhouse culture is being tested, but they're looking good here as of late.
It's funny you bring up, because it was either I think it was 2013 I had to do this sponsorship for T-Mobile on Twitter. So I had to live tweet the games when we first started doing that.
Yeah,
and I was always using hashtag Lastros. I was always using that, and I love doing that. And then, of course, the joke is on us now. Last night, obviously, we've celebrated Ginny. It's been huge for the history of baseball. Are you back? Are you doing play-by-play again tonight, or was that just last night?
It was a one-off. It was something we wanted to do. Todd Callis, him. Everybody knows Todd Callis is one of the all-time best humans on the planet, but just one of the great voices in our game. Sideline reporter, though, for 17 years and was so good at that. The guy can do literally anything. But he was, it was a fun thing for us to do of just like put Todd back in his old job for a day and let me call the game. Something we had talked about over the last, honestly, 5 or 6 years of like, what if you call a game just one night? Like break it up. There's 162 of these things. Like, why not do something fun one night? We've called games from the Crawford boxes. Like, so it was one of those things. Like, we'll just do it one night. We knew Ginny was coming in. We knew the A's were coming in. Monday night, it just seemed like a good idea. Like, let's just do this. TK was all in. And we did it. And I pushed really hard. And I talked to Ginny about it. I pushed really hard for it not to be the headline of like going in. I didn't want to promote it as females in the booth. And I didn't want all that. I just wanted to go to work. I wanted to call a game just like, anybody else would. And then we knew that as it was happening, people would realize that, hey, we're actually doing something pretty crazy here. And it, now, of course, it is what it is. It's really cool when people are messaging me and saying, my daughters were perking up when they heard your voice last night. You kept talking, and usually we hear you for 2 seconds, but like my daughters were tuning in and watching to see who you were and what was going on. And I know how important that is. I know how big that is. But as hard as I tried to just make it like, let's just make it about the Astros and the A's. I know there was a little bit more meaning behind last night.
You're 100% right. It's 162. Let's try stuff out. Let's have a good time. And so, Jeff Blum's a good friend of the program. Had him on for years. Obviously, he went to Cal. He was on yesterday. But what was funny about it was you guys have a camera in your booth that's actually on you guys because the camera is following the ball. Bregman hits the home run, but you got the camera in the booth. And what I love is when you go, that's out, however the call was, that's out of here, y'all. You spike the pin and look at Plummer. What were you thinking when you spiked the pin and you were looking at him? That was classic.
I don't know. It was an out-of-body experience, I think. What's so cool, and I know you guys love Blummer too, is Blummer is basically my brother. Todd and Blummer are my family, and we are so lucky to love each other and be that broadcast crew that really have a great relationship. So I don't know. It was something about like knowing it was him and I in that moment, and to turn around and see his face. I wanted to see his reaction, obviously, and then for him to give me a high five. Like all of it was just so perfect, like the way it all played out. But yeah, I think I lucked out. It was just like So we have a lot of home run hitters on this team, obviously, and especially with the way Tuck had been swinging it. Now Altuve has a million career leadoff home runs. Like I was prepared to be ready in case it happened, right? Like you're just anticipating it every time, and I was kind of on the edge of my seat. And then we've got Bregman who's struggling, and not to say that I wasn't thinking he wasn't going to hit a home run or anything, but it was just one of those moments where like I was also excited for the guy who hasn't hit a home run since God knows when, and it's only his second this year. So it was like the fan in me came out, and I was like trying to bring her back in, and and then called it was a mess. It was a mess. So throwing the pin, all that, gosh, I have no idea where any of all that came from, but it was just really fun.
Well, you are a Texan, and you went to the University of Texas. It's like you're a Longhorn spiking the ball is what it was in the end zone.
Exactly, and I had to throw a y'all in there. I say baseball y'all a lot. I have for years. It was kind of my saying. I actually have like a whole apparel line now of just baseball y'all clothes, and that started this whole thing. But and I wanted to work that in somehow. I just didn't realize it was going to happen so quickly and on a home run call, and it played out beautifully. Baseball's beautiful.
All right, so leaving New York obviously wasn't good. Bob Nightingale's putting out there out of the 26, there's 2 guys not really happy with leadership or whatever. Kind of a rally the troops moment. What's been going on with Joe Espada, talking to the guys, kind of like, hey, boys, time to step it up? What's been happening with the Astros inside the clubhouse?
So that was interesting, to see that or to catch wind of that was just interesting timing. Honestly, like Mexico, this team was really starting to play much better. And, pitching, we saw a couple of tough pitching performances mixed in there. But, like, for a couple of weeks now, they have just looked better. And they, it's like the wins will start coming if y'all continue to do this. Justin Verlander has a bad outing against the Yankees, that you mentioned that series. And you're like, uh-oh, like if he's not going to perform, what's going to happen to this team? I'll tell you that, like, over the course of the first few weeks, like, there were different guys standing up in front of the clubhouse and saying things. I wouldn't say meetings, but people were leaders were stepping up and saying stuff. And so, like, for that to come out, it was just kind of interesting timing because the team was already going in a better direction and playing better ball. Joe Espada is the most positive guy I've ever met in my entire life. And one thing that he does extremely well is communicate. And that's what you're hearing from all the players of, like, I love that Joe tells me, like, I'm going to play. I'm not going to play. Why am I not going to play? Joe was quick to tell Jake Myers in the offseason that, hey, I know rumors are out there. You're my center fielder to start the season. Kind of totally changed his perspective, the way he got ready. He brought Caratini in. He brought Diaz in the offseason. Just like the little things that he did leading up to this. And that's who we all know as Joe Espada to be. So very interesting. But they are just playing better, and things are starting to line up. Brian Abreu has been working on tons of mechanical things, and all of a sudden, his last 3 outings, he looks like the Brian Abreu of last year. And then you're like, okay, well, if Presley's going to be good and Hader's going to be good, then, like, here we go, right? Like, here we go, because we know the offense is there. This team is just too talented not to go off for a good streak. I will tell you, before this homestand, though, the message was, like, we have to take care of the A's and the Angels who come in early next week. This is a huge homestand. If we want to stay in this thing, this is when we got to make our move. So that was definitely the message coming into yesterday.
Well, let's end on this. I have twin girls who are graduating from high school.
Oh, awesome.
And they're about to go to college. So let me just say, what you were doing last night, what Jenny's doing, it is huge. When you show that, you know what, this can be you. This is where you can go in life. Be very proud of that moment, not only for yourself, for your daughter, for all of our daughters. It's big when we have these monumental moments, because I can tell you my kids were watching last night back here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've got to keep good perspective of that. I know I try to keep my head down, and the guys, it's like one day at a time, one play at a time, one pitch at a time. But you're right. Big picture is important too.
It's baseball, y'all.
Listen to you. You sound like a Texan. I love it.
Thank you for the time. Have a good broadcast tonight, and we'll see you in Oakland.
Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, it was. I think it was. Are they Fox? What are they?
They are AT&T.
They AT&T. I don't know if it was somebody put it out. It was the video of her doing the call, and she turns at Plummer and throws the pin. It was hilarious.
I'm still updating my scorecard, Plummer. Brinkman drives this one, and you can say bye to that baseball, y'all.
It's Texas. It's her thing. Baseball, y'all. But she turns and spikes the pin at Plummer. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Because, and by the way, I'm a little jealous. Can I tell you why?
Yes.
Did you hear what she said? I almost want to clip that. We're going to try something different. We're going to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have fun. You know, when I got to do play-by-play, no one ever said, let's have fun. Let's have that. No. We've been anti that. No offense, but we've been anti that. Like, that's smart. Look what they did. They did something last night. Look, and it went national. It went viral. They had fun. The game's fun. They promoted their look how much bang for the buck they got out of it. Like, clearly, when I did play-by-play on the radio, this wasn't like, oh, hey, let's have a good time. Townsend's going to be in here today. No, it's like, here, read this, and you're doing the lineups. Remember? Was I supposed to be Bill King all of a sudden? Was I supposed to be Lon Simmons? I mean, really? But that's how it went, because we're not fun. They're fun. Texans are fun. Have you ever been to Texas?
I went to a wedding that, remember? 2 years ago.
Texas is fun. Like, everybody tries that. Man, I've had some great times in Texas. Dallas, Arlington, San Antonio, Austin, Houston.
I went to Fort Worth and Arlington.
I had a Whataburger like at 3 in the morning.
That sounds on track.
Tasted great.
Wait, all right. Did I hear this correctly yesterday? Did you ask?
Johnny
ask
doesn't like, yeah. Like,
doesn't like Star Wars or Star Trek. Doesn't like Whataburger.
is Johnny fun? Johnny says he's fun. Like every time he brings up something, he doesn't like anything.
Bro, I don't like burgers.
I mean, I'm like, well, I remember it was around 2:30, 3. It was really late. It was when I was with the Raiders taking on the Texans. I just remember it was and it's monstrous. There's a Whataburger right down from Mesa, where we our complex in Mesa. Remember, there's a new Whataburger opened up. I don't know. We went down there multiple times, but one of the trips we went down to spring training, they opened a Whataburger not far from Ho-Ho Camp.
I think
Were you there for that?
I don't remember seeing a Whataburger there.
It opened like we saw. It was built. We drove by, and then the next day the flags were up, and then it was like opening, and there was a line out the thing. It opened while we were there.
It might have been when you went down to do play-by-play or call the games with Johnny.
Oh, when I had to do the owners.
Yeah, it might have been then because I don't remember seeing a Whataburger while we were there.
Might have been the owners' party where I went by and went, oh, it's open because they built it, and then next thing you know, it's open, and there's a line out the door. Delicious.
Yeah,
it's a big, juicy hamburger with a ton of stuff on it. How bad can it be?
I think the only time I had a Whataburger was I think I tried it at the Dallas airport when I was leaving.
I am not up on my Whataburger knowledge. It's now in Arizona. Like, where is all the Whataburgers?
Well, let's take a look.
We'd be more an In-N-Out Burger would be our big chain, right?
Yeah, here, yes.
Fat Burger down in LA.
Okay, there's 34 Whataburgers in Arizona or in Alabama.
In Arizona, there's 37. Wow.
37, 15 in Arkansas.
I thought it was a brand new
7 in Colorado, 45 in Florida, 14 in Georgia, 6 in Kansas, 26 in Louisiana, 11 in Mississippi, 16 in Missouri. You call it Missouri. It's Missouri.
My grandmother was from Missouri. She called it Missouri.
Nevada has 1.
Now, where's the one in Nevada? Is that Vegas?
It is
on the Strip, baby.
Las Vegas Boulevard.
On the Strip. Now, you get one on the Strip, there's going to be a million there now.
13 in New Mexico, 40 in Oklahoma, 15 in Tennessee.
This is a big chain.
And 737 in Texas.
If it's gotten to Arizona, you know what happens. It'll come to California.
I don't.
It is crazy where things start.
And
like I tell people all the time, do you know where P.F. Chang started?
California?
Arizona.
Oh.
Now, would you think P.F. Chang's would start in Arizona?
No.
P.F. Chang started in Arizona. So you never know where things are going to start, right? Rubio's start in San Diego. Like you have no idea where certain chains are going to start. There's your water. You're welcome. A's fandom. Our A's nation, our A's, our bubble, as we're calling it these days. Everybody in our bubble, you're welcome on your Whataburger knowledge. I've only had it in Houston. Late night. That was the night I went to the Rockets game, and I went to the bar that had one of the greatest bars I've ever been in.
Is this the Magnum PI bar?
This is the Magnum PI bar. Greatest bars I've ever been. This is back in my fun days.
You're still fun.
I'm still fun, but my body couldn't take it anymore. All of a sudden, my bloods were bad, and my doctor was like, I think it's time to quit. And I went, yeah, I think you're right. So in this bar, you go into this bar like any other big bar, tons of people there, but there's a back room called the Magnum PI bar inside the bar. And I'm like, I got to see this. So we're in Houston, and you go into this back bar, and it's all Magnum PI stuff. The 2 bartenders are dressed Magnum PI Hawaiian shirts. They've got all these different televisions, and they're all playing different episodes of Magnum PI. All the drinks are named after things Magnum PI. It was hilarious. I could not believe it. I'm in Houston, Texas at a Magnum PI bar. I mean, there's probably like a lot of young kids going, who the hell's Magnum PI? Tom Selleck. It was hilarious. TC, the whole thing. It was awesome. Houston. The thing about Houston that you need to realize, well, Joe Rogan once said this. People forget Joe Rogan now as podcaster and UFC and everything.
No.
People.
I knew him from Fear Factor.
But people forget Joe Rogan's a stand-up comic. That's how he got started. That's how he got Fear Factor. Joe Rogan has a famous line where he goes, Houston, there's more strip clubs and gas stations in Houston. But Houston is massive landmass-wise. It is. Houston, I believe, is the 4th populated city in the country of the United States.
That sounds accurate.
Is Houston number 4? Like, Houston's way bigger than any city we have in the Bay Area. I want to say they're 4th. Yes. They're 4th?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, Houston's that's when they had the floods, when the city flooded. And you're like, do you realize the landmass and the amount of human beings that live in Houston, Texas, and the city's flooded? Because remember if I remember correctly, the hurricane came across the Gulf because Houston's basically right on the Gulf. And the hurricane came and it went like north. And then it circled back and then just stopped right on top of Houston and just dumped and dumped and dumped. And I mean, at some point, where's water going to go? And yeah, you had the 4th largest city in the country. Just crazy.
I don't want to go. Can you name the 3 ahead of it? But that's pretty easy.
That would be New York.
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And this is the thing that gets it with Chicago, obviously. But the thing that gets me about L.A. So New York, Manhattan basically has nobody on it. It's very small. But on a work day, there's like 20-something million people in Manhattan, right? There's only like 100,000 people that live actually on Manhattan, an island, right?
I don't know. I never looked at their population.
Well, that's Manhattan, but everybody goes out to the boroughs, and that's where all the humanity is. But L.A., like when you say we're all in California, we're competing against the Dodgers, like L.A. County, like Santa Clara County is our biggest county in the Bay Area, which is what, roughly over 2 million people? Santa Clara County?
Yeah.
Or around 2 million?
Yeah, because San Jose's a million on its own.
Dude, L.A. is 10 million people in L.A. County. There's 10 million people. There's more people in L.A. County than we have in all of our counties combined.
Yeah, it's wild.
So why are we comparing our attendance with their attendance? The humanity they have around them to go to games is far different than what ours is.
There's 4 cities, from what I looked at, there's 4 cities in the state of Texas that are in the top 10.
Yeah. That's why when they talk about like last year, the market size. Wait a minute. Dallas played Arizona. That is Dallas Metroplex versus Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa. Both these markets are top 10 markets.
Correct. Phoenix is 5th.
Arizona's a big market. Dallas is a big market.
Basing it off population size, Phoenix is 5th and Dallas is 9th.
Basically, we live in a world in baseball. If it's not Boston, New York, or LA, they're going to call it a small market series.
Chicago. Right?
Even really? Do we really? Does baseball? We look at like if the White Sox are in it, are they going to say it's a big market team? No.
Yeah, that's true because
they look at us like, oh my God, Bay Area, we're one of the biggest markets. Baseball, one of our teams in the World Series. It's Giants were in 3 straight World Series, and they act like it was podunk playing.
San Jose's not 12th. It was 10th largest. Now we're 12th.
We're down to 12?
Yeah, we got passed by Austin and Jacksonville.
Well, everybody's moving to Texas. That's the reality.
And Fort Worth is right behind us in San Jose.
So what do we got? We got LA, only LA and San Diego now are in the top 10?
Yeah.
San Jose got bumped. I hate to tell you, people are moving out of the Bay Area, bro. What did you send me the other day? Or you sent me today?
Yesterday, the gas thing?
No, not there's a gas thing?
Oh, there's a gas.
They want to up gas taxes?
Yeah. Shreve and Company? That one?
Shreve and Company Jewelers will close its Union Square store It's been in business in San Francisco for 172 years.
There's someone in Palo Alto, though. So
of course. You don't hear, not to be a jerk, but you don't hear about our mall closing. Valley Fair is going record profits. Shopping in the South Bay is going strong. There shows you where the problem is. All these malls in the Bay Area. Have you ever seen anything about all these different little malls in the Bay Area that are just wastelands?
The only mall that exists to me is Valley Fair.
That's all you need.
Well, what was the one that was in Cupertino that closed?
Off Wolf.
Yeah. Valco?
Valco, yeah.
By the way, this is from Martin Gallegos. This came out when we were talking to Julia Morales. Alex Wood is meeting with Dr. Will Workman today in California. A's will have MIR results on his shoulder and more information tomorrow. So it sounds like we're getting information on him and Waldachuk tomorrow, because they said Waldachuk information later, but I think the surgery is tomorrow.
With Alex Wood, which is odd, is, we're so used to elbows. We don't really hear shoulder that much anymore.
Yeah. So,
but shoulder is like, man, hopefully strain, rehab, maybe shot, cortisone, whatever you need. But yeah, shoulder was always the one that you were like terrified about. Now we've just gotten so used. Tommy John. As we never even got back to Trevor Gott. Trevor Gott said something. Trevor Gott said something that should be alarming to everybody, because this is what's happening in professional sports. As I mentioned, golf and baseball are intertwined. Golf was first using all of this technology, and now you see every golfer on the range at the PGA Tour or a Live Tour event has their form. There's all these different kinds now of basically TrackMan. And these guys hit, look, because they'll tell you, they'll know if they're passed from the inside, if they come a little over the top. They know ball speed, launch. They know everything. Golf is so advanced compared to baseball. But as Trevor just said, now guys, and we see it all the time, they pitch, they look at the screen. They pitch, they look at the screen. They pitch and look at the net. So they're always striving to get to maximum velocity, spin, whatever they're trying to do, whatever your pitch is. Your guy skiing throws a splinker, a sinker / split.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're trying to get with these numbers. But so when you're always, and it's affected why we talk about baseball and golf connected. Well, if you're always trying to hit a golf ball a certain way at a certain, when we start talking about speed, they've been measuring golf speed for a long, long time. You think that's good for your back to be hammering a club into the ground at that speed over and over and over and over again every day?
No. Sorry, John asked me to send him the link again.
Can't have a Whataburger. If it's not magic, juggling, or ping pong, is Johnny interested?
Well, I took a screenshot of the email, and I said, he goes, send it to his email. He got it. See, user error on his part.
But you see it when you're pitching to numbers or you're playing golf, you're trying to get your body to do for the numbers. That's where you're getting yourself to where you're always trying to play at max effort. And when you're always trying to do stuff at max effort, whether it's pitching or golf or whatever, golf, how much can the back take it? Why do guys not have long careers? Why do you see so many of the old, back in the day, so many of the old guys burned out in their 40s? Why? Because their backs were done. Like you're trying to strive to always, and the same thing, Trevor Gott just said it. Every single time I'm throwing in my break and stuff, I'm trying to get to a certain spin. I'm trying to get to this. And we're hiring. I remember we had the girl she was an astrophysicist or whatever.
Oh, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have all these people looking at the numbers and you need this and you need that. Well, that's great that we got smart people that are going to tell you how the ball needs to spin and move and drop and do all that. But does your elbow know? Is that good for the elbow? Is it good for that ligament? May look great on the screen, and you have all these cameras. I can't remember what the cameras' names are.
Edgertronic
cameras, the Rapsodos. You have all that, and it looks great. but can your elbow take it? Can your shoulder take it? Because, by the way, the cameras and the screens with the readings, they can't tell you what's happening inside the elbow. All the elbows can't take it. All the backs can't take it. In golf, shoulders. You see these guys, they have the injuries. Tiger Woods limping around. Very few of these guys long-term golf. You think of how many thousands and thousands and thousands of golf balls they hit. Dude, that's why they end up like going away for their 40s and they reemerge like, hey, I feel better now, and they play on the Champions Tour. But guys, I mean, your body can only take, the race car can only take so much. Are you running the same race car for 20 years? No, there's always new cars. You're always getting a new car. You can only run one car for so long. I mean, I think of Johnny's body. I mean, the fact that Johnny's been doing what Johnny's been doing for all these years with that one body is truly amazing. Think of all the minor league dinners Johnny D has survived. Is he ready to go?
Bro. I think so. Let's see.
Johnny, how are you?
Good. What's up, bro? Hey, bro.
Think about, not many people's bodies could survive the life that you've lived.
Could survive the what?
The life that you've lived.
Oh, I know, bro. I know. I think about that, and now it's funny because you talk about all the minor league dinners you were talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of the press boxes had good meals, but I go back to like some of those Midwest League days. They weren't the greatest, Towny. So yeah, so you're right. I mean, so far so good. So far so good. Knock on wood. So far so good.
I mean, you went from college to play-by-play. That's not like a good dietary plan.
No. And I'll tell you this. I will say this. I'm on my way, man. I've been doing a lot better this road trip. I'm doing great. I'm down a little bit. I've been working out every day because fast approaching age of 58. It's time, Towny. I got to clean it up. It's time to clean it up.
Well, you got your headband. You're like a Harlem Globetrotter now.
That's right.
You'd be badass if you wore that while you did play-by-play.
You know what? It's early in the year. I may do that.
Call it the rally band. Next, we're all wearing rally bands. The A's make it to the playoffs. We're all like a 1970s basketball team.
I love it. The rally band. I'm in. Count me in, Towny. Count me in, man.
So awesome. But hey, is it true you're smoking all these guys in ping pong?
Bro, I when I go against Kotze and Crosby and Dallas, I'm probably the third or fourth best player of that group. Kotze and I. No,
you're
seriously.
A professional.
No, Kotze and I played 6 games. He's won 4 of them. Dallas and I played 30 games. He's won 25 of them. Crosby and I played once. Crosby won the game. So honestly, bro, I'm good. I'm a really good player, but those guys are elite. It's tough.
Yeah, but they're just like rolling out. You play it all the time.
I love playing. I love it. We got to play. We got to play, Towny. We got to find a way to play. By the way, Commander, you look great, by the way. You look great.
Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that.
He's slim. I'm telling you, I'm not buying any more. I'm not ordering from Link Soul. As you see, we both have the Link Soul gear today. I'm not getting any more extra larges for him. Extra large. You got to fit into a large. That's the challenge.
Exactly. I like it, man.
Got to fit into a large. You're a big dude, though. That's the thing. You're a tall. You're always going to be tall.
Yeah, but I'm an XXL. I got to get down to an XL. I shouldn't be an XXL. That's embarrassing. I got to go XL. I got to find a way.
Then I'm not ordering an XXL for you then.
No, order me an XL, and I got to get into it. That's a good call, Towny. I like that.
That's good. I got big plans for this long term, and if I got to order a bunch of clothes, I'm not going to the fat guy store to get it for you. You got to fit in.
I love your attitude, Towny. That's perfect. Sounds good, buddy.
Speaking of hot takes, I just wanted to throw out to you and the Commander just a little note inside the notes today.
Yeah.
That 25-year-old Joe Adell has an 832 OPS this season and is on pace for 27 home runs. Just wanted to throw it out there.
So far, so good, Towny. I want to make sure you get those updates when he starts to struggle, though.
That I'll probably lose that part of the notes when that happens. I'm just
right.
I can only go what's in the notes today, Johnny. I can't go to the expected future. I can only go today.
Thing is, I got my buddy Commander on it, so he'll keep you honest. I know he will.
You did see a lot of Joe Adell.
I did.
Though.
I did, Towny, and I loved him. I saw him in Salt Lake, and I always wondered why it didn't translate. I know he was brought up pretty early. He was brought up at 20, 21 years old, and he was a little he got to AAA with Dominic. He got to the big leagues, and he had trouble with the breaking ball. He also had trouble defensively. But the talent's there. I talked to Max Stassi about him extensively, and he said the sky's the limit for the guy because he's so talented. So I'm rooting for your prediction to be correct. I'm rooting for that hot take to work because I really like Joe Adell as a player, and I think he's going to be really good. Just needs, I guess, sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer to get going than others, right? So I'm rooting for him for sure.
I said spring training, if they don't want him, sounds like an Oakland A already to me.
Yeah, he's something, man. He's got some talent for sure. It's a long way.
He's got a ton. I mean, he oozes talent. It's just,
Does.
sometimes, I mean, he, as you said, got brought up early. Still 25, so he's got time to figure it out. Are we ready for some hot takes?
Yeah, let's get the open.
All right, here you go.
I'm ready for hot takes.
Every once in a while, you hear a really good sports hot take.
Mark this. The Yankees will not win the World Series.
Then you hear some really bad hot takes.
I'm calling it now. There will be a collapse in Milwaukee, and the Chicago Cubs will catch them.
War is going to shock you. Domingo Acevedo.
I have the White Sox winning the Central.
Well, on A's Cast Live, all takes are hot takes. It's time for Hot Takes Tuesday with Chris Townsend, only on A's Cast Live.
Hot takes. They got to be hot, and they're not all going to be right. They're not all going to be right.
No.
But you know what? I'm not looking for conservative, down the middle, hot take. That's not a hot take.
So who wants to go first?
Not saying, I don't want to hear Alex Bregman's going to be a good player. That's not a hot take.
No.
Well,
it's not a hot take.
You guys took my hot take away.
Oh, your hot take is Alex Bregman will be better?
Alex Bregman figured it out.
By the way, Johnny, are they still gripping there a little bit in Houston, or are they starting to feel a lot better?
I think they're feeling a lot better. That's part of my Hot Take Tuesday, which I will share with you when you're ready. But
lead us off on your hot take then.
Yeah, my hot take. The Astros are 16-25 right now. I took a look at their schedule in the month of June, and I saw all the teams they're playing. And my hot take is the Astros will go 17-8 in the month of June, which will propel them to pretty close to the AL West. That's my hot take. In June, the Astros will start to dominate. This team will start to dominate. They will win 17 of 25, and they will go atop the AL West. They'll be right there.
In June, the Astros will go 17-8.
They will win 17 of 25 games. This team is 16-25 right now, so it's a hot take. Believe me, it's a hot take. They're 9 games under 500. They're going 17-8 in the month of June. I looked at the schedule. It's going to happen, and they will be. Look, I'm not an Astros guy. You know that. I'm anti-Astros, but this is a team that will be on the rise here coming up for sure.
Did you root for Michael Myers to kill people in the movies?
No, I did not.
Did you root for Jason in Friday the 13th? Did you root for Did you root for the bad guy?
No.
You want to finish that sentence because you didn't watch Star Wars?
Yeah, I was going to say Darth Vader, but he didn't watch Star Wars.
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm not rooting for that.
It's a hot take. You're right, Johnny. They're 16-25. They stink. Yeah. And you're saying by June, they could be leading the division.
By the end of June, this team will be atop the AL West. This team's going 17-8 in the month of June. That's my hot take, and I'm stand by it.
Wow. That's a hot take. That's a hot take, Commander. Your hot take?
Johnny's building off of me saying they were going to win the AL West, so everyone's just jumping on the train that they're going to win it.
I'm not. I'm still doom, gloom, disaster. Verlander gets traded, but that's not my hot take.
So Brent Rooker is on fire right now.
Fact.
I mean, he has 10 home runs, which is tied for 7th in baseball.
That's not a hot take.
Brent Rooker will win the 2024 Home Run Derby.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That is a blazing hot take.
You mean the one at the All-Star game?
Yeah, that one. Not the one there. Not the one we want to set up at the Coliseum.
Brent Rooker is going to win the home run derby.
That is a blazing hot take.
Are you saying Brent Rooker for sure will be an all-star?
Yeah.
Wow. That is a hot take.
That's why they call it Hot Take Tuesday, boys. That's why they call it Hot Take Tuesday. Wow.
Brent Rooker, the All-Star game's in Texas, right?
Correct.
So not only will Brent Rooker, don't make vacation plans during the All-Star game. You're going to Arlington and you're going to win. Did you look to see what his numbers are career in the ballpark in Arlington?
I did not. I went with my gut.
By the way,
I went Boche. I went with my gut.
If Shea Langoliers is somehow in the home run derby at the ballpark in Arlington, I'm putting all my money on him.
You should.
Right?
As you should. But Cody, hey, Commander, that is a really, really blazing hot take, and I love it. I love your attitude on that.
All right. Do I have any music for my hot take?
Oh, I turned the music off because it's hard with Johnny not being here.
Okay. Here we go. You got a calendar, Johnny?
Yeah.
Can you mark something on your calendar for me?
I sure will. It'll be right here, and then we'll go to the calendar. What do you got?
I want you to mark your calendar, Johnny. June 1st, where are you going to be?
June 1st, I will be in Tampa.
No, never mind. June 15th, where are you going to be? Minnesota. They're taking on Minnesota.
Yep, Minnesota.
June 15th. You going to be in Minnesota?
Yes, I will.
I'm glad you're going to be there. You know why?
Why?
Because Jacob Wilson's going to be the starting shortstop for the Oakland Athletics on June 15th in Minnesota.
Blazing hot take. Wow.
Mark your calendars. June 15th on the road. He will be the starting shortstop for the Oakland Athletics.
That is 32 days from today. 32 days from today.
I like it.
Wow.
You're damn right you like it. Because he's going to be your starting shortstop, and you might look up 10 years later and he's still there.
Who was it? Was it Joe from Monterey last night on the A's?
Joe from Monterey said he's going to be like next week.
He said
like,
Tuesday.
That's a little.
He said when the homestand starts, Jacob Wilson's going to be the starting shortstop.
June 15th. Everybody mark your calendars right now. Whether you have a real calendar, it's a calendar in your phone. Mark your calendar. June 15th. It's a Saturday, 11:10 start here on the West Coast. Twinkies and A's, game 2 of a 3-game set. Jacob Wilson will be the starting shortstop.
That's a hot take. Hey, Commander, are you keeping track of all the hot? Are you writing down all the hot takes we have this year?
Yes, I have a
okay. All right, good. That's one I'm going to keep an eye on. That's a good one.
So I love it. He might be the best player in the organization.
He's certainly putting up the numbers right now, man. So
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and what's great about you, Johnny, is you have a career in the minor leagues. You've seen greatness roll through. Johnny, educate everybody that when you see these players that are just so head and shoulders above everybody else in the minor leagues, it stands out so much.
It does. It really does. And then you also have guys that have dominated the minors that have come up and got exposed, a la Hiram Boca Chica, that have done dominating in the minor leagues and can't do it at the big league level as well. But you can tell certain guys, I'm certainly not comparing Jacob Wilson to A-Rod and Johnny Damon, but there's certain guys I watched in the minor leagues in the 90s, the 2000s, that they're just a man amongst boys. When you watched A-Rod in Appleton, Wisconsin in 94, you knew he was going to be special, right? You saw Johnny Damon in 93 in Rockford, Illinois. You knew with the Rockford Royals, you knew he was going to be special. So it's pretty exciting to see that. Right now, I'm not comparing them to Jacob Wilson, but Jacob Wilson's certainly dominating every level he's gone to. So maybe he does need new challenges. So June 15th.
Yeah, Johnny, this just isn't dominating. Like he's like, you're getting 3 to 4 hits every game.
Yeah.
That's a different deal.
No question.
That's not like putting up some good numbers. That's like this pitching can't get me out.
Right.
It's like, exactly. Yeah, right. It's like the challenge has been accepted. I accept your challenge and I'm whooping your butt. So
yeah,
now
it's funny with Jacob Wilson too. You get the feeling that, the big league pitching will be tough on him, but he's a guy who's made contact his entire life and hasn't changed going up through the minor leagues. I don't think it's going to change when he gets to the big leagues. I think he'll still make contact. How much success he has, we'll see. But he's going to make contact, and he's not going to strike out. So it's pretty exciting.
This is not opposite field home runs where you hit the ball in the air and the wind's blowing out. It's in the minor leagues. This is just pure straight contact all over the board. No matter you throw righties, you throw lefties, you throw hard throwers, soft throw, whatever you've thrown at him, he's eating it alive.
For me, it goes, my marriage to Deb, obviously having my kid, my marriage to Deb, and watching Towny get excited about a prospect. It's the greatest. It's the greatest thing in the world, bro. I love watching you get pumped about this. And I think he's going to be really, really, really good. June 15th might be a little aggressive, but that's why it's a hot take, right? That's why it's a hot take.
Hot take, June 15th. All right. So yours is by the end of June, the Astros will go 17-8 in June. They'll be in first place in the American League West. Yep. You've got Commander says Brent Rooker will be an all-star and win home run derby.
Yes, that's hot.
That's
I got to say, these hot takes were better than our last hot takes. These are good. These are really good.
With Stephen A, because
a lot has to happen. Just not the All-Star game, but just to be in the home run derby. He's got to be in it. He could go the All-Star game, not be in it.
Oh, I looked up his numbers, by the way, at Globe Life Field. Is that
Globe Life, yeah. How is he in Arlington?
Yeah, he doesn't have a home run there. It's okay. Home run derby is way different than playing there as a player. There's soft tossing, batting practice.
Man, it's exciting.
Johnny, you have play-by-play tonight. A's need a win. A's need to get a little mojo going.
They do. It's been a struggle, and of course with the injuries and everything, and they've been struggling a bit. They need to win. JP Sears at this ballpark. Remember last year he pitched here. He actually pitched here twice, but remember the first game he pitched here, he had a disastrous first inning, and then he ended up retiring 16 of 17 at one point. So he made the adjustment. So they know him, he knows them, and I think it's just a big outing. Basically, a guy, Renel Blanco, who's been their best pitcher. Like he's 4-0, 2.23 ERA, through the no-hitter, late bloomer, 29 years old. So it's going to be a challenge for the A's hitters. They do need a win today for sure.
All right, here's something that's crazy on him. He has issued nearly as many walks, 20, as hits allowed, 25.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
You can use that.
I appreciate that. Thanks, buddy.
Am I talking to you in the pre, or am I talking to Vince?
I think you're talking to Vinny. I think you're talking to Vinny in the pre. Yeah, because we talked I think we talked yesterday.
And so then I will have something for you in the third inning. Any request you want special for the third inning?
Nope. Surprise me.
Surprise you. All right. I'll bring you something entertaining.
All right.
All right.
Well, it's good. By the way, Road Trip Mike's streak continues. He got here in the 8th inning of the game last night because he got diverted to San Antonio, so he had to get here. He scrapped the clock, finally got here in the 8th inning, so his consecutive streak on the road is alive and well, just so you know.
He's like Cal Ripken.
Totally, Johnny's on a P1 of the Ace Clubhouse show. Road Trip Mike called in to explain the story.
Yeah, Road Trip, he explained the lightning and everything that was happening yesterday. And
great. I love that guy.
Some poor lady gave up her seat. He offered her some baseball. It was some story, but he's basically the Cal Ripken of the road.
He is. Love him.
Any special thing you've had to eat while in Houston because you won't have a Whataburger?
Well, we went to a place called Snooze today for breakfast. Alice and I had a great breakfast there. Going to get some soul food tomorrow. A place called Lucille's. So we're going to do that tomorrow. So looking forward to that. And yeah, that's about it. It's been fun trip.
Please tell me you're ready to beat up Kansas City in barbecue.
Oh, can't wait.
Kansas City's the best. I love Kansas City.
I know. Going to absolutely crush. Crush.
That diet is out the window, my friend.
Yeah, it was a good run.
Yeah, well, it's only really 2 days. It's Friday, Saturday, maybe a little on Sunday. Well, you'll get back to it when you get back home here. You'll have a day off, and then the Rockies come to town.
Exactly.
Have a good call tonight, my friend.
All right.
Great, Johnny D. Yeah, you've ever been to Kansas City?
I have not been there
yet. Kansas City's great for barbecue and museums.
Yeah, we talked about this. I've been wanting to go for the barbecue. So
the Negro League Museum and the Jazz Museum are in the same complex. When I was there, I'll never forget it. The young lady was so nice. So as I've talked about on this show before, Jackie Robinson in his first at-bat grounded out to my grandfather. Jackie Robinson's first at-bat was against the Boston Braves. My grandfather was a third baseman, so there's things in there. And I wanted to go see the museum because I've heard for years it's unbelievable. So I go to the Negro League Museum, and the young lady says, well, for just $15, you can go to both. And I was like, wait a minute, I can go to the Jazz Museum too for $15. I'm all in. So I go into the museum, and it's great. It's unbelievable. I tell the story about Vita Blue, Marty Lurie, and there's that film that they're narrating, and you go through it, and then you go through the museum. It's unbelievable. Then you go out and they have the statues on the field. It's incredible. Then you get done with the museum. Then they have the merch, and you get some merch, and then you walk out and you walk just through the foyer, and you go over, and it's the Jazz Museum, and you walk in, like, first thing you think is Ella Fitzgerald's gown. And then they got the trumpets, and you're just like, this amount of history for $15. It's incredible. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, $15? That's it? I want to say the Negro League Museum was like $8. I mean, it's nothing. And then barbecue, every place is awesome. Eric Gates, Kansas City Joe's. They used to be Oklahoma Joe's, and now it's Kansas City. Jack Stacks, all of them are phenomenal. Barbecue, my man, barbecue. You like barbecue? This is what they do. This is what they do. You're not going to outdo them at what they do. It's the best barbecue I've ever had. Hands down. I was going, like, buying sauces and stuff to get it on the plane. It was incredible.
It's on my list of places to go for sure. I do want to see Kauffman Stadium. I do want to see Arrowhead also, but
Arrowhead's like it's like college football. When you go in there, well, of course, obviously the Raiders are the rivals. So, but it felt like you were at a college football. I mean, the atmosphere is incredible. Buses come pulling up. Everybody's running up to flip you off. It was like college football.
Well, I'm sure my wife will want to go see if she can
I'm sure the Jacksonville Jaguars don't have the same reaction when they show up to Arrowhead.
My wife will be excited to go because she can maybe get a glimpse of T-Swift.
You really
by the time I get there,
Trevor, you don't need T-Sizzle. You got Livy Dunn now.
Yeah, well,
you got your own T-Sizzle.
Plus, my wife's going to Scotland to see T-Sizzle, so she can have fun with that.
Like, I remember Elton John, I heard on Sirius XM about how his fourth farewell tour.
My wife went to that too.
Gross because COVID stopped it, and then he started up again. It grossed over $1 billion. What's this tour going to gross for Taylor Swift? It's got to be way over $1 billion.
Well, they suckered my wife into going to Scotland this year, so
suckered my family. I have now paid for 4 different Taylor Swift concerts, and I've been to one of them. And that was at the Shark Tank. That's the one I told you I was doing a show in San Francisco, and I came in, and I'm standing there in line by myself, and all the moms are looking at me like I'm some predator. I've told you that story, right? I told you that.
No.
Everybody's well, think about it. It's a Taylor Swift, and
yeah.
I'm a guy middle-aged man by himself going into a Taylor Swift concert.
Well,
it's not a good look.
As long as you have your shirt tucked in, I think you're okay.
I was like, Mike, I just want, hey, my wife and kids are in there. I'm not here alone. Yeah, because what would I be doing going? Well, you know what? Maybe as a middle-aged man, I just really like Taylor Swift. I want to come in and she was a little more country than back when I went.
All right, well, I think that's a good place to end the show today.
But I've paid for 4 Taylor Swift concerts. You know how much money Taylor Swift has gotten off me?
A lot.
Oh, my God. You know what? But my kids are graduating from high school. They're 18. T-Sizzle is now on them.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm out. I'm out of the T-Sizzle business.
Well, she won't be back for a while.
She's never leaving. This is like a concert series she's going around the globe. Who says she doesn't come back again?
Well, maybe it'll be a farewell. No, I don't know. Well, I'll full report when my wife comes back from Edinburgh over in Scotland.
I can't believe that. Are we done?
Yeah.
Great show. Are you going to have the answers for me about baseball and pitching and what baseball's selling for me tomorrow? Do you have the answers?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know if I'll have that by tomorrow, but good show tomorrow on tap. We're going to have Shooty.
The great Shooty Babbitt.
We're going to have David Feldman with a new top 10 list.
All right.
And we're going to have Vince Cotroneo confirmed with me. He talked to him. I sent him an email already. Josh Reddick will be on it tomorrow.
Shreddick is going to be on?
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
He's doing the games on Astros radio, so we'll have Reddick. So.
Awesome. Josh Reddick. He was a grade A. Grade A. All righty, coming up next, game 2 of the 4-game set between the Athletics and the Astros, right here on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. This is Chris Townsend. I'm proud to announce our Year 2 partnership with Link Soul. They've changed my wardrobe, and they can do the same for you. And right now, their spring collection is fabulous. Natural fabrics and versatile styles, perfect for this time of the year. And they want to introduce their performance line for golf, premium for on-course apparel design, and to keep you cool and dry. Check it all out, linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com. Remember, look good, play good.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.